she actually probably does want to come now. Like, the more I'm thinking about it, like, I don't think she doesn't want to come. But if she doesn't come, she wants to. Right. You know that, right? I know it's so much I'm not going to fight with her. Yep. All right, let's do some radio, baby. Good morning, gentlemen. Dan Turner, Tyler Morell, Amir. Hello, how are you? Let's go. Tyler, I love this rundown today. A little bit of everything.
Oh, you know, that's what I do. We hit all bases.
Shut the fuck up.
We hit all the bases here.
want to call me up, take my number down. Take my number down. Take my number down.
Are you singing the FAN jingle?
Oh, yeah. Hi, Shawnee. Happy Father's Day, bro.
Thanks, bro. You got a good Shawnee today.
Love that.
Good Shawnee.
Yeah.
Woke up at 7, was on the Pelly, 7:15. Already been to the supermarket, already did the ice run. We're good to go here.
I got a favor to ask you, dude.
What, you need me to do it solo at 11:30? What do you got?
No. Just stop getting so handsome. It's a tough act to keep up with.
Ah, you set me up. You set me up.
Let me grab my coffee. Give me 1 minute here. And I got my Mudans on, so nobody look at my penis.
Are you kidding me? First of all, we don't have a microscope. Kenny!
What's happening, guys? Happy Father's Day.
Thank you. I noticed the mornings I don't wake up at 8:15, 45 minutes for the show. I'm way more energetic.
Does Pat have kids?
God, no.
Do I have kids?
You kidding me?
I was going to say Happy Father's Day to him. Well,
He's lucky he could take care of himself.
Hopefully, a girl's called him daddy before.
We should actually change that. Pat doesn't have kids that he knows about.
Oh, good point. Good point. Good point.
Can we go hat here for the first segment? Is that going to happen? My hair looks like trash.
How about you go pants here for the first segment? We always joke around about working from home in our underwear. Rarely do we ever actually do it. Although I am working in a bathing suit.
You're in a bathing suit.
Oh, got news
Look
for
at
you,
this.
11:57.
This is how you know the vibes are going up. Little cannoli. I already ate the cherry.
Nice. Nice.
Let me close my door. And you're gonna see. All right.
I chose my Peloton ride with a pregnant instructor, Emma.
Betql Sunday Service starts now. With Sean Marash.
I will punch you in your stupid face, and I hate the Knicks. I hate their fans.
And Pat Boyle.
That's probably why I'm not a GM in the NFL, but if I was, I would probably take a huge swing on Michael Penix.
Turning your faith into fortune.
Few things in the gambling world I can't wait to bet more than the Jets under right now.
While serving up hot takes and hot takes.
If Chet Holmgren was on that team, he's probably putting up better numbers than Wemby.
It's BetQL 5-Star Weekend, presented by BetMGM.
Ho, ho, ho. Happy Father's Day. A Merry Father's Day to all. 12/22/19, 10/10. Let me think about the year. 2021. Uncle Shawnee Morash over here became a father to two beautiful girls, so now I celebrate Father's Day. Pat Boyle may unknowingly be a father. We are not sure, but he is with me as well. And to all of those dads that celebrate, whether you're headed to the golf course, headed to the links, or just ready to grill some links, enjoy a fun day, poolside, beachside, lakeside, wiffle ball side, whatever kind of side you're on, totals as well. We're going to cover them all here on BetQL's 5-Star Weekends. To all the degenerate dads, welcome aboard. Good freaking morning. Pat Boyle, good morning to you.
Wow. Shawnee came to play today. How about that? You're ready to rock and roll here. You're ready to rock,
baby.
And you're ready to roll. Yeah, happy Father's Day, man. First and foremost to my father, Bobby Boyle, greatest man that I know, living legend. Everything every good attribute that you want to, associate me with, you can thank my dad for. And every bad one, hey, them's the breaks. But
Well,
But seriously, happy Father's Day to everybody out there. It's an amazing day. It's usually a great day associated with everything you just said, Shawnee. Grilling, poolside, watching baseball. We still got a little bit of basketball and a little bit of hockey left, so enjoy it, man. And for those of you that, for whatever reason, if you're not celebrating today, well, those that you do have close to you, your loved ones, hold them in a little extra tighter today. It's a great day.
Yeah, all right. I mean, Pat Boyle makes it all sad there. I'd also say I'm very thankful for my father today. As many of you who listening, I'm going to make this leap. I'm going to make this assumption. Okay, when you come for wagertainment on BetQL's 5-star weekend, if you're a BetQL listener all week, you bet. BetQL Daily, all of our great programming here. Something in my gut tells me a large majority of you love sports and learned sports gambling from likely your dad. Okay, some dads have taught kids how to bird watch. Some dads have taught kids the proper hiking techniques. Some dads teach kids how to turn a wrench properly and change your own oil. My dad wasn't like that. You know what my dad had me doing at 6 years old? I can't hit this to save my life. It's week 7. Pick 4 teams on this parlay card. Circle it up. Let's submit this to the sketchy barbershop guy, and let's see if we hit. And sometimes I hit. So I got into gambling at a very young age. And sports, my love and passion is because of my dad, and I love him dearly for it. I would not be sitting here on this Sunday without Pat Boyle, without that instituted in me at a young age. So thank you, Dad. Luckily, I still have a home. Okay. With this show, though, comes plenty of action, right? As Pat alluded to, we have extended. I thought we were going to be sitting here today, honestly, the way the week had gone, ending the NHL and NBA seasons. We play on. We have game 5s. That'll be part of a hot take and hot cake I have for you shortly. We will give you a dingbat, a Father's Day edition of who's going to hit some dingers, who's going to hit some home runs. I hit 2 last week. And of course, a Sunday scary parlay to save our lives, a bet, Patty's Beefcake Boil bet, the generation bets, which I may be betting a draw in the Euros, plenty to get to throughout the show, and some NFL news throughout the week too, so we will touch on that as well. So without further ado, on this Father's Day, enough thanking dads, enough hating dads, enough loving dads. Let's get some hot cakes and hot takes going.
Good morning, people. Boy, do I need some hot takes and hot cakes. Pat Boyle and Sean Marash, give it to them.
Theme of today's show from me. You're welcome. You want to make money? I am seeing the field right now. Bink. Little seed here, tight end open up the middle here. Boop, 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 boop. You know what I look at when we avoid 2 sweeps the way we did in what has been a cluster, you-know-what, of a Stanley Cup final and an NBA finals from a network perspective? I see opportunity. And although last night the Oilers drummed the Panthers 8-1, it's an Oiler drum joke, and although the Mavs basically took it and ran Celtics out of the building in that second half the other night, all that tells me is, no. The talking heads who don't do gambling shows will say, man, do you think we can get an improbable 3-0 comeback? And that'll be a theme, right? That'll be a theme tomorrow morning ahead of the NBA Finals. That'll be a theme in hockey talking circles ahead of the Stanley Cup Final. Ain't a theme in my house. You know what my theme is? Both series are ending in 5. And all you got to do is open up that BetMGM app or whatever your beautiful betting app that you use and see opportunity. If you parlay the Panthers to win Game 5, if you parlay that with the Celtics to win Game 5, both of which home ice, home court, you know what you get? A plus 140 payout. Better than even money to have 2 teams that have absolutely overwhelmed and dominated each of the league's respective finals coming home with a chance to end this thing. All that happened is a gentleman's sweep set up. I'm parlaying both, and that's my hot cake to start hour number 1. A gift to you. You're welcome. Plus 140 odds for a Panthers Game 5 win and a Celtics Game 5 win. Jump on it now.
Yeah, a little Father's Day gift from Daddy himself. I don't disagree, Sean. I don't disagree. By the way, I know we said it before the show. Happy Father's Day to you as well.
Thanks, man.
You're a delight to work with. You're a locker room leader, and I appreciate you.
That guy too. Thank you.
Oh, yes. We can't forget that. As you're slugging, I don't know if that's a Celsius or if that's got a little fun juice in it, but here we go.
We'll never tell.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I don't disagree. I mean, these series have been, for the most part, totally one-sided. And, you know, where was that in the first 3 games from Edmonton? Where was that in the first 3 games from Dallas? It is nearly impossible to beat a team 4 straight times in either hockey or basketball. That's why we've never seen it done in the NBA. That's why we've only seen it done, I believe it's 4 times, 0-3 comebacks in the Stanley Cup playoffs in history. And I think 2 of them were like 50, 60 years ago. So, this is all right. A team plays with pride. They want to avoid the sweep. They don't want to get swept at home. They're going to play with everything, blood, sweat, and tears that they've got for the fans. And then they also turn in, you know, a decent game. And the other team says, you know what? We want to finish it off at home. We're not going to risk it. We're not going to give that extra effort. Who cares? We'll finish them off. We've been dominating. And I really do think that happens, and that actually absolutely happened with Boston. and it absolutely happened with Florida. So I don't disagree with you. Panthers Celtics parlay. It sounds pretty good to me. And like you said, plus 140, nearly 1.5 times the opportunity for profit here. That's tough to turn down. I'm actually going to take my attention to Pinehurst in North Carolina for the U.S. Open, as a lot of fathers will be doing that, and that's a lot of golf. Watching golf is something that I grew up with, watching my dad. Not so much out of want, more so just out of that's what my dad had on Sunday afternoons, that and the Yankees, and that's what I was watching. So I either liked it or I didn't, but I enjoyed it. And I gotta say, and at first I was like, wow, this course stinks. This course sucks. Like these guys are hacking it up. The greens or the turtleback greens, can't hear enough about them, how tough it is to putt. And then I was like, then I kind of thought, and I'm like, Patty, you're an idiot. Stop being a dumbass and remember here that these guys look more and more like you do on the golf course than in a tournament where they're shooting 22, 23, 24 under and just having a field day on the course. So you know what? Pinehurst, as rough as it may look, it looks like, sometimes you're on like a sandy dune beach with some of that rough that they're hitting into and a bunch of crabgrass looking weeds. And then the greens, the guy hits a putt 3 feet too long and it runs 18 feet off the freaking hill here. You know what? I like it. I like seeing pro golfers struggle and look human. And, although if DeChambeau finishes it off, and we'll talk more about that here as the show goes on, the winning score might be 11, might be 12, if that. I mean, it could be a tough day, especially all the nerves that these guys have trying to finish off a major title. We might see 8 under, 9 under end up winning it. I'll take that. And watching these pro golfers, the best in the world at what they do, look human, look like you and me on the links, Shawnee.
Yeah, hacking it up.
And hacking it up and having a real tough time putting, having a tough time getting it out of the thick stuff rather than having a field day on the course and making it look like they are a different species. So, you know what? I'm going to enjoy this final round of the U.S. Open today at Pinehurst. And every time somebody whacks one into the rough or puts one and it's like, dude, that's the kind of putt you just had, I'm going to say, you know what? I feel a little bit better about my golf game.
Well, I love that take, Pat, because I'm somebody that's the opposite of you, right? My dad was never into golf, never into watching golf. And to me, like anytime it came on the TV and I was around an uncle or whatever, I always found it as a kid boring on TV. I did. And of course, the Tiger Woods phenomenon hits and, I got into that a little bit. But as I've gotten older, started to play golf myself terribly. Obviously you get more of an appreciation for watching golf if you play golf, right? Like that is the, how does this guy hit this? Where does he, what club does he use? What iron does he use? Yada, yada, yada. But much like watching a NASCAR race, and unfortunately it's a horrible thing to say, how many of us watch it to see a good wreck, right? Or, wow, came around the corner, tires are flying. It's the truth, right? Like, let's not hide from the truth. A lot of people love a good, as long as everybody gets out of there safely, it's mesmerizing TV. The better golf on TV is what we've seen here through this U.S. Open, which is, oh, yeah, you try to hit it out of the 10-foot tall weeds here. You try to hit it out of the sand here and hack it up. I love it. It's relatable golf. I'm with you. By the way, I took a little bit of a long shot run, sprinkled some beer and pizza money, as Nick Costos likes to say. What's he about? 6 shots off the lead. Hideki Matsuyama, plus 2,200 right now. That's where I'm going to ride it out this Sunday. Had a little championship pedigree in the blood there. And a good long shot play for me right now. Unless, because you trust Rory in the spot? I don't know. Patrick Cantley to make a little charge? I don't know. And do you trust Bryson DeChambeau with a lead to not implode here late? I don't know. Could be an interesting U.S. Open final round a little bit later on. All right. It's been an interesting week throughout. Obviously, last night we talked about Connor McDavid finally scores a goal as the Oilers force a Game 5 versus the Panthers. Panthers get ready to roll here. I thought a little interesting under-the-radar NFL nuggie, little dank nuggie that was thrown out there this weekend. It's going to get buried. Good job by Tyler Morales, who I love that he includes on the rundown. T. Higgins ends his holdout, is going to sign his little tender franchise tag here, and I guess is going to play football for the Cincinnati Bengals. Why do I find this to be a good under-the-radar nugget? To me, I think I said this on the show, maybe it was with Rob Brown and not with you. If I'm picking a team not named the Kansas City Chiefs to win the Super Bowl this year, it's the Cincinnati Bengals. And if I'm picking the Cincinnati Bengals, it's got to be all systems a go. And I think that you will find preseason, you will lose a lot of the the juice on odds on this, whether it's division winner, AFC winner, all of these things that you want to sprinkle in here. Because remember, they're in the tough AFC North. You will lose that as the season goes on if the Bengals are humming on the Cincinnati Bengals. So I think if you don't love betting stuff preseason in the NFL, the Bengals might be the one occasion where you may want to jump in here. I think the Bengals are primed and ready here. And if T. Higgins is bought in and they look at it as, let's go back to our old Bulls documentary, The Last Dance, the last time Jamar Chase and T. Higgins are going to play football with each other with Joe Burrow. If T. Higgins, who knows? Maybe they made it, hey, look, let's go try to win a Super Bowl this year. Then you're free to do what you want to do after the year. I'm all in on the Bengals' motives. I think we've forgotten how good Joe Burrow is off the injury. And I think T. Higgins, if he's bought in, and he's going to be, by the way, playing his ass off for a contract to try to prove he's a number one wide receiver on the open market, I think this only enhances the juice and enhances the feeling I have that the Cincinnati Bengals are the biggest competitor to the Kansas City Chiefs, forgetting the AFC, to win the whole freaking Super Bowl this year.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, they've proved they can do it, right? With a much younger team than we've had. And I know Lou Anarumo.
And a worse offensive line.
Yeah, exactly. And their defensive coordinator, Lou Anarumo, was, everybody was ready to hire him as the next great head coach 2 years ago. Their defense took a little bit of a step back last year, but again, when you got the offense that they had, Jake Browning and whatever other cast of quarterback, and Jake Browning did decent for a couple of games. I don't want to totally sell him short here, but when you have an offense that couldn't stay on the field or that was turning the ball over, it makes it that much harder on your defense. So I think just by having Joe B back in the mix and having a well-oiled machine offense that they have when they're humming, that defense is going to in turn be even better. So I'm hesitant to buy all the way back in on Cincinnati, but I mean, again, like you said, if it's not Kansas City, who's it going to be? Does Baltimore learn from their mistakes last year and get over the hump? They didn't get better this offseason. Am I ready to believe in Tua and in the offseason and the Dolphins winning a January cold game on the road unless they are the number one seed in the AFC? Right. Absolutely not. So yeah, Cincinnati's shown us they can do it. They can go into Burrowhead and beat the Chiefs. Burrowhead. The offense looks, not entirely different. Again, new running back room. Zach Moss is going to be their guy, is going to be their number one. Mike Gesicki's now going to be expected to be their top tight end. So you have a couple new weapons for Joe Burrow to play with. That's the thing, though, is can he stay healthy, Shawnee? Because it feels like every training camp, once mid-July rolls around, we get a headline. Joe Burrow, calf. Joe Burrow this. Joe Burrow that. He's got to stay healthy. And I know last year maybe was a bit of a fluke with the wrist. But, I mean, it's been a story almost every year. He's got to stay healthy.
All right. When we come back, we'll look ahead to tomorrow night's Game 5 of the NBA Finals. And does Jaylen Brown already have NBA Finals MVP locked up? Is it worth even playing him at minus 245 odds or whatever he is at BetMGM? We'll get into the Celtics and Mavs when we come back. It's a Father's Day edition of BetQL's 5-Star Weekend with Sean Morash and Pat Boyle.
BetQL 5-Star Weekend will be back on the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM. Baseball is winning on the BetQL Network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of minus 2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've looked at this over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at
say.
this over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at
say.
this over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders.
Hi, Shawnee. You're muted. Welcome back from break here on this Father's Day. And
BetQL's
Pat-
5-star weekend.
There he is.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm a moron. How are you? You're a moron. You're a moron. Nobody's a moron. I should just let you finish it. That was selfish. You know what, Pat? Take it out of the break. Go ahead. Restart it.
Okay. Yeah, welcome back. 5-star weekend, BetQL Network. I'm Pat Boyle. He is Sean Marash. He's on his A game 99% of the time, but the 1% he's not, I'm there to pick you up. I'm there to be your Jaylen Brown. I'm there to be your Kristaps Porzingis. And that's what we got going on tomorrow. Big Monday night. Enjoy the Father's Day festivities today. Tomorrow, is it the final basketball game of the season? Shawnee, back to you.
It is the final basketball game of the season. Head over to your BetMGM app now. Celtics -7.5 is the spread, which is an interesting number for me. An interesting number. Do I wrap my hands around that? A total of 209.5. And of course, a juiced money line there. Celtics -278. I gave it away at the top of the show if you're just joining us. Celtics money line, Panthers money line, both in a game 5 will get you to +140. So if you love the Celtics in this game personally to win and you don't love the spread, I would rope it in with the Panthers based on everything we've seen in the finals and final between the two series. Can we figure that out? Why are we cutting out the S? All right. Mavs and Celtics, though. It's amazing to me that we're even previewing a game 5. I thought the Mavs were dead in the water after their surge on what was it? Not Friday night. Whenever the heck that. Wait, when was game 2, 3?
Game
what am I talking?
Game 3 was back on the 12th. That was 4 days ago. So that would be
Wednesday night?
Yes. Yes.
That was the surge where the Celtics were up big. The Mavs rallied. Luka fouled out. That was the game where I thought the Mavericks officially lost the series and couldn't close it out there, despite some great efforts, Derek Lively and company as well. So here we go. Now it's -6.5 the spread, as we're talking live. Man, I think the Celtics are winning the series. But I have to be fair. The line scares me to no end. Because I think that the Mavericks, after winning a game, will deliver a good punch. And you can never rule out like a Luka 40-point game, something like that, and it's still not be enough. In fact, Luka's been the leading scorer in every game but one in this series, which is just incredible and is going to be a story I want to talk about in just a second. But I don't know where you sit, Pat. I don't feel comfortable with Celtics -6.5. I do feel very confident they will find a way, guts and grits, to win the game. And maybe that is a game by 10, 15, 20 where it's just one big party in the fourth quarter. But I'm not necessarily comfortable with the 6.5, which is exactly why I'm only playing the money line and pairing it with something. I'm out on the spread, but I do believe the Celtics will deliver a win. But of course, -278 just shakes you away, which shows you America probably feels a lot like I feel.
Yeah, and I can understand your trepidation and your fears there, Shawnee, because 2 of these games have ended basically right on the button, right on the spread here. I think it's been, well, actually, that's not correct. 6.5 in game 2 when the Celtics won by 7. Game 3, Dallas, I believe, was actually a 1-point favorite, or it was a pick'em. And it was 1.5, and then it still finished on 7. So you've had 2 out of the 4 games finish with a Celtics 7-point win, and lo and behold, the spread is 6.5. You might see it get pushed to 7 by tomorrow. I think, and it's not like I think a lot of the times we as bettors say, "Oh, what are the sports books trying to get me to bet here? This is a fishy line. This is a trap line." I mean, this is basically the same exact line in the first 2 games. They think that Dallas is a step above a marginally better team than Dallas, a comfortable favorite. So 6.5, 7-point favorites. And, game 1, they destroyed them. Game 3, Dallas gave them, like you said, their best left hook, right jab combo, and Boston ate it in the first quarter and then, pulled away late in that game, pulled away in the second half. And then, like we said, was game 4 just about Dallas, heart, sweat, and tears, not going to get swept at home, and Boston said, all right, we'll pack it in? Or was it maybe a sign of things to come with the second game of no Kristaps Porzingis? I know that they have said he is ready. He can play sparingly if needed. Joe Mazzulla. Again, how much you want to believe coach speak when it comes to injuries in the NBA Finals, that's up to you. I don't think that Kristaps Porzingis will be anywhere near 100% if he does play. And he ended up not, they said he was good to go if needed in game 4. And obviously he wasn't needed, and because the game was over basically by halftime. But I don't think that means that we're all of a sudden going to see 25 minutes of KP, of Kristaps Porzingis here in game 5 tomorrow. So I do think that this Boston offense, even though that they were able to get on without him in game 3 and deliver a win, I think that if he's not 100%, and again, a lot of this is what you feel as a bettor. Again, you can hear what coaches say all the time. You want to choose to believe it. You want to think that Porzingis is going to be good, that maybe he can just hang out in the corner in the wing and hit threes. This Boston team is not the same without him, and they were able to get basically through most of the playoffs easily without him. So why should this be any different? Well, again, you saw Derek Lively, I think it was his second straight game, drop the double-double. He has been a huge difference for them, huge difference maker. He was a +20 off the bench in only 22 minutes, 11 points, 12 rebounds. Didn't have a block, but played great defense at the rim, forced Boston to kind of, re-navigate their offense and how they wanted to get things done here. So that's what I was saying in game 2, Sean, last time we were on the air. And, I was saying I think I like Dallas plus 6.5, and then I ended up losing by, I ended up getting hooked there on the spread. But I not that I think that Dallas is going to win this series. And I know you made fun of people that think that, with the headlines tomorrow, could Dallas be the 0-3 team to come back? I don't think they're going to win 4 in a row, but I don't know if they're going to get destroyed here in this game. That being said, they have shot like poo-poo from deep for most of this series. So if they go out and the Dallas Mavericks shoot, they hit 15 threes last game. If they go 9 of 38 in tomorrow night, then yes, Boston's going to destroy them, and it really doesn't matter what the spread is because they're probably going to win by 15. So right now, for me as a bettor, I'm kind of in that mode where it's the day before a game, and I'm not ready to totally convince myself of what side I want to be on. I like you. I do think that Boston wins the game. There's probably going to be a couple of big runs in the first half. So for me, it just comes down to how effective can Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford be for Dallas, because they're at their best when those guys are operating, with Lob City and shutting down stuff in the paint, forcing Boston to kick it out. And then, of course, just shooting variance. Does Boston hit their shots? Much more likely to do it at home. Does Dallas hit their shots? Much less likely to do it on the road, as we saw in games 1 and games 2. So I think by tomorrow, you might see me get on board here with a Boston Celtics minus 6.5. But right now, at this very moment, as we sit here on Sunday, Father's Day morning, I don't know if I can necessarily get totally on board with it here. I do think that the public, I really don't know. I feel like the public will want to see Dallas keep it close, but I just think that at this point, everybody has fully realized the tank and the wagon that the Celtics are, with or without Porzingis.
Yeah, and I think everybody's also fully realized that in-game with these runs, Jason Kidd is a doofus when it comes to figuring out how to end a run, stop a run, and everything. And Jason Kidd maybe was just really good at coaching and practices during the week, and that plays into the Porzingis head games. I also think with KP in this spot, look, he's an aging big man. Now, aging is a stretch, but you know what I mean. Like, for his size and length and to have this many injuries, he probably realizes this is his real golden opportunity to win a finals, and is probably really pushing the Celtics to let him back on the floor so he could really be a part of it, because this could be the crowning achievement of his career, where basically KP just becomes Blake Griffin on the Nets and Celtics after this, where he's completely deteriorating before our eyes as an all-hustle guy. You know, what also scares me, if you don't like a side pregame, is always a good advisement on wait to see what happens and jump in live, right? This is the kind of series, though, that scares me on jumping in live, because, every game's been a different kind of tale. So if the Celtics jump out and they're feeling it at home, and it's a situation where they build a 14-point lead in that first quarter, and then you want to sit there and go, ooh, but I still think the Mavs can punch back with Luka, and now you're getting a live spread of, the Celtics minus 16.5. Ooh, let me grab the Mavs now. Well, that could also become a 40-point win for Boston, the way that the series has gone, and vice versa, right? Like, you may want to grab the Celtics at plus points if the Mavericks get off to an enormous big swing early. But guess what? Like we saw in the last game, maybe that's where the Celtics just get beat up, hide and die until a game 6. But ultimately, I do think Boston finds a way to win this game. I think Boston obviously will win the series, because they would win the series if they win the game. The other part of this, and why the talking heads will be so silly when they have this conversation, if anybody wants to put their boots in the ground and make the stand, well, hey, you never know. Luka, the Mavericks come back and win the series. Man, ultimately, even if the Celtics fumbled away and found a way to lose this game, I don't think there's a point in time in this series, even going into a potential game 7, where I would doubt the Celtics are not winning the series at this point. Like, that is what I've seen. Game 7 would be back in Boston. I think the Mavericks could quite literally win the next 2 games, put all the pressure on Boston, and I'd still believe in Boston. By the way, Boston was in a similar situation versus Miami. Was that last year when Derek White went off in that situation? And then, whatever. Went back and forth. Like, Boston has seen that kind of 3-0 collapse in their face before, and stood in there and punched back. So, look, Celtics tomorrow win. I'm pairing it with the Panthers, and away we go. Now, on the Luka note, Luka's, I think, led every game in scoring except for one, if not all of them. He's right now 12-1 to win MVP. Kyrie led game 3. Look, he's not going to win NBA Finals, so I'm not advising you to sink your money at 12-1 unless you believe the Mavericks were going to come back and win the series. But that's another scenario where, I'm sorry. I think we get too caught up in the winning team. In all of these championship scenarios, we never hand out an MVP to a winning team. And it should have been handed out to LeBron years ago in that Matthew Dellavedova series where he was just incredible and basically willed the Cavs to stay in it. But I think we do need to rethink some of these awards in terms of, championship series in sports, that automatically it has to go to the winning team, when in reality, isn't the winning team just that, the better team? They find a way team-wise to outwill the other. When I think of an MVP, the only reason a team is hanging in a series or making a series interesting is probably because of one guy. I think that's the case in a lot of sports, that ultimately the better collection of guys finds a way to win, especially in this day and age in parity in sports. So I'm not saying that I would bet him 12-1 because it's not going to happen, but I do think we need to have a reshaping and a rethinking. Oh, by the way, in a world where legalized sports gambling the leagues are in bed with, I think more losing teams should have MVP consideration, and Luka should just be that. I mean, as great as Jaylen Brown's been, he hasn't led a game in scoring at all. If they lose in Game 5 and Luka's led the games in scoring 4 of the 5 games, has he not been the most valuable player on the floor and the only reason any of these games have been interesting? I think so.
Yeah, well, also on the flip side, I mean, is he taking 27 shots a game and also hurting them, killing them with their defense? Both of those both of those answers, I think, would be yes. I disagree with you. I don't see how you can give the Finals MVP or, that type of trophy, no matter what sport it is, to a player on the losing team. Sure, he might be the best player in that series. Like you mentioned, the LeBron comment was great. Luka has not been the best player in this series. He's getting hunted on defense almost every possession. His effort has been...
Dude. I think we've overblown his effort defensively. We really have. That hasn't been necessarily the strength of his game anyway. And he basically has been the leader in net points on the floor when he's on there too. Like, to act like he's been this big detriment defensively, he's been a way overblown storyline in this series.
I'm not saying he's like lollygagging it up and down the floor, but there's times where there's cutters, there's screens going on right in front of him, and he's not making that extra effort to step in front of it or go under it or fight through it there. There was plenty of times where, it's not like he's like walking up and down the floor, but the little things that he needs to be doing defensively, he's not doing. And if you're not making up for that with, exceptional offensive play, then it doesn't matter. In the last 2 games, he's gone 1 for 15 from 3. And, complaining to the refs all the time. There was a play where he's complaining to the ref and Boston just blows right past him up down the floor. So, yeah, I mean, I would say his defensive effort has been in question. I don't think that's been I don't think it's been overblown. And he has not been, again, I think part of the reason why, if anybody's complaining about this series, not being great, rather, other than it just being 3-0, it's because I think, all right, well, if Dallas is going to win, what has to happen? Luka Doncic, who we know has been a top 5 player in the NBA for the last 3, 4, 5 years now. Like, let's see him really elevate. Let's see him, push Giannis, push Jokic, push SGA and say, you know what, I'm the best player in basketball. I'm the best basketball player on the planet, and I'm going to show everybody. He hasn't done it. Sure, he's had, like you said, he's been the leading scorer in almost every game. He's still averaging close to his numbers. He had a 32-point triple-double in Game 2, but he hasn't shot effectively. So, like, when are we going to get the unquestioned where everybody's saying, wow, Luka is a dog. He can't be stopped. We haven't really had that game. It's going to take that in Game 5 tomorrow in Boston for Dallas to stay alive.
Irish Patty riding with the Celtics and completely doing the same media gimmick, buying into Luka hasn't been great defensively. All right, when we come back...
what are you talking about?
Calm down. Overblown. When we come back, Shawnee's got 2 eyes, watched every minute of every game. When we come back, NFL MVP talk. Ooh, the juiciest of awards. BetQL's 5-Star Weekend presented by BetMGM.
BetQL 5-Star Weekend will be back on the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM.
Mark your calendars and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at
say.
this over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at this
say.
over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders,
Welcome back to BetQL 5-Star Weekend on the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM.
5-Star Weekend here. It's Sean Morris, Pat Boyle. How are you? We've done a lot. NBA Finals, U.S. Open, Stanley Cup Final. All right, now let's look ahead. I don't know why we're doing this, but the NFL awards are coming up here. I mean, the season don't start for 3 months, all right? But you know what? Producer wants to talk about it. We're going to talk about it, all right? All right, how are you guys doing? Sean Morash, Pat Boyle. If you know, you know. That's what that was right there. If you know, you know. Patty, you brimming with sunshine. You happy? You good to go on this mid-June afternoon here that we're going to approach, even though it's the morning right now across the U.S.?
Yes, I'm more than well. I am very, very good. I'm happy to be next to you. I don't know what prompted you to do a little sports pope impression there.
I don't know. Having fun, man. Having fun. We're going to look ahead. We've been doing this every week at 9:40 a.m. Eastern time. We look ahead to the NFL awards, although this might be the last one if we're closing with MVP here. I don't know how much are left. We've been doing this every week for God knows how long. And don't you worry, because we have plenty of college football futures to get to once this cooks on. Pat, before you even look at odds, if I were to tell you 2024 NFL MVP will be?
Brock Purdy. Wouldn't shock me in the slightest if it's Brock Purdy. He was a couple of weeks away from winning the award last year.
Ooh, okay. So you, without even looking at the odds, you would say that?
Well, I know that he's not going to be one of the favorites. And, we've done Offensive Player of the Year a couple of weeks ago. So I kind of have a good idea what the odds are. And I think that's the best, not only value. We're always looking for the best value as bettors. But you also, as our pal Nick Costo says, I want to bet on things that I think are going to win. I don't care what the value is. I mean, obviously, you don't want to put like minus 200 odds on a bet. But, when you're looking at futures, when you're looking at awards winners, you want to pick somebody you think is going to win, but also you can get some good value in there. Then it's the best of both worlds. And that's what we call in the biz, Sean, a home run, a little cherry on top. And I think you get that. I think you get that with big Brock Purdy. And I think, again, if they don't get demolished on Christmas night by the Ravens, we're talking about Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, all those conversations and all those annoying-ass segments that we've seen on TV about Mr. Irrelevant Brock Purdy. Well, they would have become unbelievably tiresome to the nth degree because he would have won the MVP. And I think the offense that San Francisco has, nothing has changed. He's proven he can play in big games. He's proven he can play in the postseason. There's no reason why he can't ball out this year again with Deebo Samuel or Christian McCaffrey at his side. And we're having the conversation maybe again in November. Should McCaffrey be the MVP and not San Francisco? It's going to go to a quarterback unless McCaffrey just, puts up 2,000 yards on the ground this year. It's going to be Brock Purdy. So I think San Francisco is going to be great. I think the offense is great. I think Shanahan's great. Purdy's got a shot to win this award.
I mean, that'd be pretty good if you hit that. 16-1 odds plus 1,600 right now, Brock Purdy. So I wanted to play this game in that exercise because of exactly what you alluded to, right? Which is the theory of I want to win my bet. So when I ask you without looking at odds who you think is going to win an NFL MVP, that's usually a good start to placing money on that. If that's what you believe will happen, then you place the money on it and look at the odds, and you don't worry about the payout because, again, no matter what, it's going to be positive money, right? Like there's no negative money bet to the NFL MVP. So just on a pure betting futures basis. Maybe you're tuning into BetQL for the first time. You just started listening over the last month, the last week or whatever. And legalized sports gambling has piqued your interest and you've always been a sports and you're trying to find that edge. I think when we do any of these segments on BetQL where it's about the futures market, understand that it is very rare in a futures market to have negative odds. So any dollar you place is going to pay back that dollar and more. Okay. Basic 101 betting. So close your eyes. Who's going to win the NFL MVP is a perfect one to do. And you get pretty juicy odds if you like Brock Purdy, right? $10 is going to win you $160. So I like that. And I agree with your theory on Brock Purdy. When I closed my eyes before I even saw this list, and should come as no surprise because I kind of alluded to it earlier in the show, this is the year of the Bengal for me. I'm on Joe Burrow, who is at 9-1 plus 900 to win NFL MVP. T. Higgins is bought in. They've obviously reshaped the running game a little bit. Joe Mixon not there anymore. But I fully expect, after some frustrating injuries, Joe Burrow to have the Cincinnati Bengals humming. and has 2 number 1 wide receivers that, very hard, pick your poison, who you're going to cover, Jamar Chase or T. Higgins. I think you're going to get extraordinary yards. Also, I would factor this in. You get, I would say at times, what's the right word for it now? It's fatigue, right? Voters fatigue. So Patrick Mahomes, the reason we haven't even uttered his name here, plus 500, think about that. Think about that theory. Like, plus 500 is actually good odds on a Patrick Mahomes when he's the best player on the planet to win NFL MVP. But voters fatigue, right? Like, how many MVPs? It's almost like you'll go out of your way to find a reason for Patrick Mahomes not to win, since he wins everything all the time, it feels like. I like Joe Burrow plus 900. I think that they will win that division. I'm going to sprinkle on that. And if you're the quarterback of the toughest division in football and you win that and you're chucking up yards left and right, I'm all in at plus 900. So now that we've established the base, Boyle loves a Purdy. I love a Burrow. I love when we do this segment doing a little elimination game. Who you think's a waste of money and a waste of time, who bettors are going to likely gravitate towards. I'm going to begin with one for you, Pat, because people are going to look at these odds and they're going to look at a situation and not look deeper into a situation and go, I like this.
I know who you're going to say.
That is just Justin Herbert.
Yep, absolutely.
Is that where you thought I was going?
Yep.
Plus 1,400 odds. People will jump out and go, oh, Harbaugh's the coach now? You don't have Brandon Staley bumbling all over himself. Justin Herbert, air it out. Hold on here. Mike Williams, who's off injured, Keenan Allen was off injured. They've reshaped their receiver room, right? Like that, it's completely different. Number 2, don't be shocked. Year 1 here of Harbaugh coming in, if this goes back to, and they just invested in offensive line again, a run-heavy offense, which is going to drive fantasy owners and betting prop people wild. You are going to have games this year that the Chargers do win, but you are going nuts and go, what is Harbaugh doing? Why is Herbert only throwing for 215 yards and 1 touchdown or something like that? The idea that just because Harbaugh has taken over, you haven't paid close enough attention to the kind of coach he is, the kind of offense he runs, and he's going to make Herbert earn it. Sorry. I don't like Justin Herbert at plus 1,400. Down the line, could he win an MVP with Harbaugh? It ain't going to be year 1.
Yeah, no, I mean, I totally agree. I totally agree. He needs more weapons too, and I love what you said, because there's something that I didn't necessarily think of. When you talk about what Harbaugh is coming in, they're going to want to run the ball. Right? They're going to want to milk clock. They're going to want to run the ball. They're going to want to keep that defense off the field because it's been god-awful, atrocious the last couple of years. I'm sure it'll be better under Harbaugh, but yeah, like you said, they're going to want a balanced offense here rather than, all right, Justin, let's just hope you can air it out here for us and beat cover 3 with some like 17-yard, over the middle routes. That's going to have to take time to develop, which we also don't have that great of an offensive line either. Somebody that I want to not necessarily eliminate. We've had the conversation about him before here, but somebody that I'm not ready to buy all in on the hype of being a top 4 quarterback, top 5 quarterback in the NFL. It's C.J. Stroud. He's got the 4th lowest odds at plus 1,000. And I understand the type of year he had last year and the type of year he was having in the first couple of weeks of the season. He was great. Finished with 4,100 yards, 23 touchdowns. Didn't turn the ball over all that often, only 5 picks last season. And, if not for the injuries to his team, especially guys like Tank Dell, who knows? Maybe he really had a shot at winning it. And I understand they've also added Stephon Diggs, and they got Joe Mixon as their running back now. And this offensive line really came into their own last year. Fully understand all of that. I'm just expecting a little bit of regression from C.J. Stroud. I don't think he is ready to be consistently in that conversation with Burrow, with Mahomes, with Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen as, the 5 best quarterbacks in football here. So call me a hater. I'm sure I'll get that for, a lot of this summer leading into football season. But I just don't think C.J. Stroud is going to be that great this year. I don't think he's going to be better than he was last year. I don't. Call it regression, call it sophomore slump, call it the tape. You got 18 games on him, however many games plus the playoffs of tape out on C.J. Stroud now. Defenses are going to be keen to it. Defenses are going to be wise to him.
I like your thinking. I do disagree. Respectfully, Pat Boyle. I'm not betting C.J. Stroud to win MVP. I see a lot of the points you're making, but I don't think he's also going to have a massive regression. I think C.J. Stroud's the truth. I really do. Unfortunately, I put it this way, man. If C.J. Stroud was quarterback in an NFC team, just close your eyes and picture that world happening. Like, let's just say the Texans, the entire roster was in the NFC. Same team, same coach. They're in the NFC South. are you putting C.J. Stroud a little more realistically in the MVP conversation?
No.
Really? Okay, because I think they would be the number 1 seed in the NFC. Like, I think that they would beat out the 49ers. I think they have that good a team cooking. Or more specifically, I think he's that much better a quarterback than Brock Purdy.
I think Jordan Love has a better year than C.J. Stroud this year, and I think that's the kind of conversation. I mean, again, I was the biggest doubter of Jordan Love until the middle of last season when he just started balling out every single game over and over and over and over again. Did it against Kansas City, did it against Detroit, did it against Tampa Bay's tough, stout defense. Just continued to dominate the rest of the year, and then absolutely obliterated the Dallas Cowboys in their own building. It was like the Red Wedding. You and I both Game of Thrones guys. That was like the Death Star wedding in Dallas.
I'm glad you mentioned Jordan Love because I don't know where I sit on Jordan Love. I really don't. As we sit here today on June 16th, I feel the same as I felt when the playoffs ended for Jordan Love versus the Niners, which is I still have no idea. Like, I think he's good, but is that the best football we'll ever see Jordan Love play? I don't know. You know what? The truth is, if you like Jordan Love at MVP, I actually think more so than any other quarterback, you'll kind of know on week 1. Big game, Brazil, prime time versus another big-time NFC competitor in the Eagles, who I actually think that the problems at the end of last year, there is something off with the Eagles, and I can't quite put my finger on it. I don't know how to explain it. Something's off. Man, if Love goes and balls out in Brazil and the Eagles are left kind of stunned, like, finish them, and it's Jordan Love, who, again, to another NFC East team, has thrown for like 3 touchdowns and just gone up and down the field, I think that you could have a big Jordan Love year and you would feel really comfortable. But if the Eagles overwhelm them and that's the kind of game where you walk around, all right, Eagles are fine. The Packers are still kind of mid, then I think you're going to feel worse about the Love bet.
Really quickly, we got to go to break. But you know who there's not going to be voter fatigue with? A guy who's won the award twice in the last 5 years. If he balls out, Aaron Rodgers. 20-1.
Yeah, I mean, he's not going to ball out. More on that coming up as I give you a hot cake and hot take on that as well. So thank you to set me up perfectly on that. All right, hour number 1 is in the books. BetQL's 5-Star Weekend presented by BetMGM. Fathers out there, we got more hot takes and hot cakes coming. Dingback comes up next hour. Let's go. BetQL's 5-Star Weekend.
BetQL 5-Star Weekend will be back on the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM.
Mark your calendars and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at
say.
this over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at
say.
this over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network. Presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at
say.
this over and over and over again.
Starts now with Sean Marash.
I will punch you in your stupid face, and I hate the Knicks. I hate their fans.
And Pat Boyle.
That's probably why I'm not a GM in the NFL, but if I was, I would probably take a huge swing on Michael Penix.
Turning your faith into fortune.
Few things in the gambling world I can't wait to bet more than the Jets under right now.
While serving up hot cakes and hot takes.
If Chet Holmgren was on that team, he's probably putting up better numbers than Wemby.
It's BetQL 5-Star Weekend, presented by BetMGM.
5-star weekend on a Father's Day. Sean Morash, Pat Boyle here with you. It's beautiful out. The sun is shining, at least where I am. If it's raining by you, I'm sorry, that stinks. But whether you're joining us, maybe a little phone on that Odyssey app in the golf cart right now, getting ready, a little brunch. Although I will say, could be real about something, Pat. We have a man conversation here.
Of course.
Who are these fathers? Who are these fathers that like a good Father's Day brunch? Doesn't that feel like a Mother's Day thing? Fathers, we like the sausage on the grill, the dogs and burgers on the grill, the golf and baseball on the TV, the poolside cocktails. There are people today on their way to a Father's Day brunch. And I ask you, anybody who's organized this event, did you run it by whoever the King Tut father is in your family? Is he really looking for a mimosa and some pancakes? Does this feel like, I don't know, a Father's Day thing? Father's Day brunch. And look, nobody loves a good pancake slapped inside their face and their cheeks like me. If that's what my kids are presenting me, a good Father's Day brunch, get the heck out of here.
I agree. For me, an idyllic Father's Day morning for me, if I'm a dad, is especially you and I, and most people that are listening here that are bettors, that are sports gamblers. It's, yes, I want a sausage. I want the sausage on the griddle. I want a little eggs, a little bacon, a little hash brown.
Yeah.
Maybe turn it into a sandwich for me. I mean, that's, thank you very much. On a toasted bagel, maybe on an English muffin. maybe on a croissant, however you want to do it, with a little drizzle of ketchup there, maybe a little hot sauce if you're feeling spicy.
Can't do ketchup.
And once I finish breakfast, leave me alone. Leave me alone for like an hour. Let me get my bets in. For today, let me get my Euro bets in. Let me get my U.S. Open, whoever I'm going to take to win, or if maybe I think somebody on the outside of top 10 is going to crack a top 10 finish here. Let me do that. And let me get any baseball bets I want to put in here. And then we can reconvene, in the afternoon, I don't know, around 1, 2 o'clock. We want to start going outside. We want to go in the pool. Family's coming over, whatever. Just, I want breakfast early. And then after that, let me make my bets. Let me do what I do best here. Let me get in a nice little groove, and we can reconvene, for a matinee in the afternoon. But yeah, Father's Day brunch, that's the last place I'd want to be.
Yeah. No, I'm good on that. I'm good on a good Father's Day brunch. But yeah, I'm ready to swim some laps in the pool. And by laps, I mean like 4 body strides before I hit the end of my pool, because it's not very long, and then 4 strides back. But yeah, I'm ready for that. All right. With that, speaking of old men, it's time for hot cakes and hot takes.
Good morning, people. Boy, do I need some hot takes and hot cakes. Pat Boyle and Sean Marash, give it to them.
Pat, those listening might say, what do these two losers know about gambling? If they were so much into winning, are they working a Sunday morning on BetQL for a shift rate? Or would they have enough money from gambling that they wouldn't be doing that? And to that, I'd say you're right. We lose plenty. But we're Americans. We're Americans that like sports gambling. We're two bros, if that's still a cool thing kids say. We have our thoughts. You could choose to buy into them. I think oftentimes we do enough research and thinking for you that should take some of the thinking out. And there are plenty of times we hit. And by the way, there's plenty of times we lose. There is not a single person here, including Ken Barkley and Nick Costos, who I love, who are on our mothership show here, You Better You Bet. You lose plenty, but it's trying to find the right bets, the right value, and you hope somewhere on the line you find a profit margin. I say that to say, at the beginning of our show, and on what I think is the single video on Instagram that's done the best for me on BetQL, it was around this time last year where I uttered these words, and we've heard this sentence in the beginning of our show. There are a few things I can't wait to bet on more than the Jets under wins. I said that a year ago. And boy, did people hate that. Boy, did a sensitive Jet fan base hate that. You're such a hater. How are they going to be under wins? And I actually said these words on the air last year. And it was not that I was rooting for it. It was just I felt it in my blood. I felt it in my gut. Part of my reasoning was, number one, the team's overrated. Number two, Aaron Rodgers ain't going to play a full season. He's going to get hurt. He's going to get hurt. And he did get hurt 4 games in. And guess who cashed that sucker on an under wins last year? I did. So I've thought long and hard about not being a hater for the New York Jets, and I've thought long and hard a lot about the NFL since my New York Rangers have been eliminated, as I've really tried to flip the page and get the football blood. And this week with Aaron Rodgers cemented something with me, with Aaron Rodgers missing mandatory minicamp for being God knows where. And that is for me to say the following words. There are a few things I can't wait to bet more than the Jets under 9.5 wins. I feel it again. I feel it in every ounce of my body again. As I've gone through the futures markets, do you know that there is nothing that's been bet on more in the NFL futures market for 2024 yet than by the public than this? The Jets over 9.5 wins. Did you know that, Pat? The Jets over 9.5 wins is the most public bet to this point in mid-June that the NFL futures markets had to offer. I'm all in on the under. Look, for those of you who haven't paid attention, I don't think that practicing at minicamp is a big deal when it comes to necessarily the wins and losses in terms of whether a read by a receiver is going to be missed between a quarterback in a game in September if you miss a June practice. I would be foolish to tell you that. But inherently, there is something broken with the New York Jets. And Aaron Rodgers is a big part of that broken ability. He is a 40-year-old quarterback coming off of a torn Achilles, who we can officially say this, has not played great in years. He barely played last year, and the year before, let's face it, he was pretty mid. And he came out at the end of the year and said he he played with a broken thumb. And if you want to make the case that he wasn't mid, well, if you're also a Daniel Jones hater, know that his stats rival that of Daniel Jones. Okay, so that, and by the way, that includes total touchdowns because Jones ran those in adding up to the Rodgers passes. All right, we have now not seen the best of Aaron Rodgers in multiple years. He's 40 years old. He came out last year and said that the Jets, or at the end of the year, the Jets need to keep all the non-football BS out of the building. And I don't know about you, but every time the New York Jets get talked about now in the offseason, it's something negative or something confusing, and it always centers around Aaron Rodgers, the same guy who said to keep the non-football BS. I feel a lot about Aaron Rodgers like I felt about Drew Brees at the bitter end with the Saints after they finally lost that NFC Championship game with the pass interference with the Rams. And that is, it is a great name stature. And for a couple weeks, Aaron Rodgers might be able to dial it back and look like the Aaron Rodgers of old. But asking Aaron Rodgers to do that for 17 games with a head coach that he keeps being forced to answer questions about non-football BS because Rodgers is creating it, I think you're getting a lot of stuff going on in a pot right now that is stirring up in the NFL world. And I don't think the final product that's going to get served to you at half price is going to be a monstrous Jet season where they're producing 10, 11, 12 wins. And they do have a soft schedule early that I'm sure is going to make everybody drool about Aaron Rodgers. But down the stretch, that's going to be brutal. As the weather gets colder, that's going to be brutal. Man, we need to stop thinking that this is the Aaron Rodgers of 2019, 2020. Age is a real thing, and Aaron Rodgers' focus and attention to detail has been a real thing, and it feels like it's been a lot about himself and rehabbing and not a lot about team football. I'm in on the Aaron Rodgers and Jets under, and by the way, an under might just be up to the bone at 9-8, where they missed the playoffs too. This is not a double-digit win team. The team with the longest playoff drought in football, just because Aaron Rodgers is there, that suddenly makes everybody blink and go, oh, the offensive line still has questions. And I have major questions about the head coach. And by the way, an offensive coordinator in Nate Hackett, who was brought in because Aaron Rodgers loved him. And then there was a story this offseason that they tried to find another guy who could go out there and basically figure out plays while employing Nate Hackett. There's something broken with the New York Jets, and Aaron Rodgers is actually not helping the brokenness of it. He's just adding to it. So 9.5, the public loves it. And that even more sways me the other way. Under 9.5 wins, my hot cake for hour number 2, New York Jets.
Wow. That was a scathing review you just left of the New York Jets 2024 team, Sean Marash.
Yeah.
That was some good stuff. That was some good stuff. Now, with the Jets, and we deal a lot with the Jets in New York, obviously, and I think this has become kind of like a national catchphrase for them. It's, what can go wrong will go wrong. It's the Jets, the GD Jets, if you will, to quote Big Daddy there, and many other people, many other Jets fans, tortured fan base, a team that shoots themselves in the foot one way or another each and every year, it feels like. And this year has gotten off to a rocky start again. Maybe this is minutia news across the NFL. If it was, well, it's Aaron Rodgers, so it's not. It's big news. He was absent from mandatory minicamp, and we don't know why. And then you've got Hassan Reddick, who they just traded for, is holding out. So you've already got some rocky stuff going on with two major players for the New York Jets here. And obviously they don't get bigger than Rodgers because last year he goes down 4 plays in, the season's over. So it just feels like they're set up to disappoint again here. But if Rodgers stays healthy, Sean, I know he's 40. I know he's coming off a torn Achilles. We've seen 2 decades, basically almost 2 decades of what Aaron Rodgers can do. If he plays every single game this year, they're going to be a playoff team. I think they're going to be a playoff team.
If they were in the NFC, I'm with you, man. I don't see it in the AFC. I think the Bills, addition by subtraction with Stephon Diggs there. I know they've reshaped a little bit. Allen's still a better quarterback. Miami, I didn't like losing Christian Wilkins, but look, whether you think that they're going to be an implosion in the playoffs is another story. I think now they've proven 2 straight years they're going to figure it out, and they're going to have enough fireworks offensively. Alone in their division, that is a tall task. We've talked about the AFC North and how difficult that whole division is going to be. I think that the Chargers will win more games, even if it's sexier by Justin Herbert, just by the style of football that Harbaugh will play. It's a game of musical chairs in the AFC, totally. And I didn't even mention the South where, I mean, everybody loves the Houston Texans, and we'll talk about Trevor Lawrence. Do the Jaguars have a bounce back in them? It is so difficult to find a path. In fact, your only assurance to a playoff spot is by winning the division, and I don't trust that the Jets are going to be able to do that. Again, early in the season, outside of opening with San Francisco, the Jets are going to be in a spot where they should start 4-1. Like their next 4 games or all games, the New York Jets, if they have visions of making the playoffs, should win. And by the way, I think they probably will win because I think you'll get the best of Aaron Rodgers early in the season, like you said. But you're going to be sitting there in a spot. The Jets are going to be in a big-time collapse spot, and it might be a good jump-in, miss playoff bet spot if they're 4-1, 4-2, 5-1, something like that, because they end up with a treacherous rest of their schedule. I'm telling you, man, I've seen this script. I saw it with the New Orleans Saints at the bitter end, and if they were in this difficult of AFC, they wouldn't have made the playoffs at the end with Breeze either. This is all about name recognition and not about reality. This New York Jet team, plus 120 right now to miss the playoffs. Pay me, baby. And again, it doesn't mean they're going to be some 4 or 5 win implosion. Think about what I'm telling you. The under still, you can still net it at 9-8, 8-9, something like that, where they're very much in the mix come December, but they're not going to have enough juice to get home. And we're going to be asking ourselves, what if about Saleh and Rodgers through 2 years, injury plagued, and then a bunch of nonsense leading in. If you don't see this, it's like seeing a deer a mile down the road that your car is going to basically hit and wreck. It's there. It's right in front of you. This team ain't making the playoffs.
A mile is a far way away for, to see a deer and not
I could
think
spot
that
a
you
penny
can
across the room.
All right. Sometimes when you got when your shooter is shooting and he's making shots and he is balling out, you let him run with it. And I handed Shawnee the rock there for a solid 8-9 minutes in a row, and I let Shawnee run with it. However, you mind if I place a live bet right here, right now?
Let's go.
You mind if I do that? Can I? Y'all mind if I go off here?
I hope you do it before the break.
Yeah. Well, we got 90 seconds. Look, Euro 2024 soccer. I know you're not a big soccer guy, Shawnee. I just don't understand. We got Poland versus the Netherlands right now. I don't know if you're either of those heritage. Are you Dutch, Shawnee? Are you a little Dutch boy? The Wiener Schnitzel? That was more German. I don't know.
No,
That's more German.
I do like their ovens though.
All right. All right, here we go. So Poland, Netherlands is 1-1. Netherlands, for what I saw, was basically a minus 180 favorite pre-match. It's 1-1 right now in the 58th minute. So 30, 32, 35 minutes left to go here in this game. It's tied 1-1. Poland took an early lead, and Netherlands is still close to what they were pre-match. I'm sorry. It's soccer. Anything can happen. Give me right now, I'm putting it right in right now, Poland to win or tie. So Poland to not lose, plus a half a goal, Poland double chance, win or tie, whatever you see it as. That's plus 115 right now on BetMGM. I'm taking it. Give me the Poles. Give me the Polish delight here that they are not going to lose this game. Netherlands is a better team. We can talk more on the other side of the break. Maybe when we come back from break, this bet has already been blown up in my face, but I like Poland here.
Take us home, Patty. Tease the break. Go ahead.
Yeah, we'll come back. Me and Sean Marash. We'll give you an update on this soccer game, and then Trevor Lawrence's new big bag when we come back. Pat Boyle, Sean Marash, BetQL 5-Star Weekend.
BetQL 5-Star Weekend will be back on the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM. Your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at
say.
this over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network. Presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at
say.
this over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network. Presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
Welcome back to BetQL 5-Star Weekend on the BetQL network. Presented by BetMGM.
Yo! It's BetQL's 5-Star Weekend. It's Sean Morash. It's Pat Boyle. We are humming along here on this Father's Day. Smoking a stogue and placing some bets. They still call them stogues? Is that the cool thing to say for cigars?
I call them stogies.
Yeah.
Stogies. I don't know. Yeah, it was stogies. I just call them stogies.
Grizz, if you're not doing anything productive, go in the living room and get my stogie. Name that movie.
Oof. I don't know. But that was
Christmas
great.
Vacation.
Whatever.
Come on. Christmas Vacation. Come on. Anything else I could do for you, Uncle Lewis? All
Wait,
right.
really?
Yeah. That's where I got anything else I could do for you, Uncle Lewis. I always say that to somebody who's asking me to do too much. Come on, Pat.
Hey,
Please.
I like my movies, bro, but that's, I don't remember that line. And that's a great movie.
Great movie. One of the great movies of all time. Christmas Vacation. But we should be the last thing thinking about Christmas. I mean, it's June the 16th here. What are we talking about? It's summertime, right? Get that glow on. Get that glow. By the way, looked at myself in the mirror in the nude this morning. Okay. Got up, did a little workout shower, and I spent a lot of time in the sun yesterday. 2 observations. Number 1, I think I've hit peak tanness because I usually get like a pinkish hue because I look like a pig. But my arms and stuff, I got a good glow. You probably can't really tell on camera here,
Not at all.
twitch.tv/BetQL. Can't tell. But you know how you could tell peak tanness? Turn around. My butt cheeks could not look more like vanilla ice cream compared to the rest of my body. So big time tan lines going on now. I'm not a nudist. I don't like going to nude beaches, anything like that, please. But the bottom line is this: pasty on the inside, outside, nice and crispy here. That was observation number 1. Observation number 2.
Wait,
the
let me
male
answer.
body
Hold on.
is
Let
disgusting.
me answer. Let
All right.
me answer observation number 1 as you're telling America about your butt cheeks here. Who, if you're not a girl that likes to wear the revealing bikinis, which as a guy I'm all for, I totally enjoy. But what
Sure.
guy do you know has a tan butt? What guy do you know doesn't have a pasty
Personally?
white gluteus?
Personally? You honestly? I don't know
Yes,
anybody personally, but I'm going to take you back, Pat, summer of 2004, okay? The Yankees were playing well, okay? The Red Sox didn't know a curse was about to be broken. We were in a spot where Andy Reid's Eagles couldn't figure out how to win NFC championship games, all right? But there was Sean Morash entering his senior year of high school with his buddies. And down by us on Long Island, there is a place called Fire Island. And to get to Fire Island, you can do one of 2 things. You can either take a ferry boat to one of the very many spots off the barrier island, or you could walk from the last state beach, which is Robert Moses State Beach, which is only 2 miles to the south of my backdrop from where I'm doing the show right now. And there were murmurs in high school. Did you know between Robert Moses and between Fire Island Start, there's a nude beach you could walk to? No, that can't be a nude beach. Get out of town. And, we'd all started driving at the end of high school there. So we decided we're going to pile in. We're going to check out this nude beach. And how cool would that be, right? Think about it. You're an 11th grader about to be a 12th grader, and you hear a little rumor about a nude beach. What are you thinking? Babes, naked babes. Are you kidding me? And all we have to do is walk through naked babes. We're in. So we pile in the car. We got our bathing suits on, and we decide we're going to go to Robert Moses and go for a walk. So we head to the left of the beach, Pat, one by one. Me, Tim Gilly, Matt Sewell. I'll release their names. I don't care. Greg and Scott Rollins. We're on a mission. We're going to check out this nude beach. And at the time, Sean was not in radio in high school. Sean had worked for Subway. I was a sandwich artist. So we finally we finally get from the end of the people at Robert Moses to a long gap. And I mean a long gap. I'm talking probably 3/4 mile. Nowhere to be seen. It's just sand, no lifeguards. And suddenly you see some like flags in the distance, some set up canopies. And you're like, ooh, well, that's one of 2 things. Either we've struck gold and we have found the nude beach we had been searching for, or Fire Island had started. We found the nude beach. But when we found the nude beach, Pat, we didn't stumble on the babes we'd been promised. We didn't stumble on Sidney Crawford in her prime. We stumbled on a lot of really lonely men and really warm, tan, crispy butt cheeks, the types of which we don't have. In fact, the first man that we stumbled upon was bending down in a position you never want to see and picking up a seashell. And when he turned around, there was me and my friends, and he acknowledged that he knew me, and I knew him.
Oh, no.
And he said, sup. He was about 280 pounds, 6'2". And I didn't get his name to this day, but he was a frequent customer of mine at Subway. A customer, ironically, that loved ordering the Subway meatballs at least once a week. And now the man that I once served warm balls on bread, I was staring at, deathly naked on a beach. It nearly made me quit my job. So when you say, are there men with really tan butt cheeks? I tell you, oh, they're there. And when you hear, as a young man, rumors of a nude beach, never go. Never, ever go. because the really, really good-looking women that like going nude on a beach, they're in Monaco. They're not here in the United States. That doesn't happen. It's lonely men who feel free to be nude.
What an unbelievable trip.
story.
What an unbelievable trip down memory lane that you just gave me there. You are correct. When I went to Mallorca in Spain, it wasn't even they're not nude beaches. They're just beaches. But the women there act as if they're nude beaches. And it's a free for all. Everything goes in Europe. I mean, honestly, I don't know why I have not thought about the possibility of living there long term, because that kind of stuff is the norm. And you know, things are flying, and everybody's having a good time, and it's everything's free play. I didn't foresee a 280-pound man who used to serve meatball heroes to at Subway as a sandwich artist being the guy that you stumbled upon with a tan butt at a nude beach on Long Island in New York. Thank you for that visual. Thank you for that story. It was really well told. It sounds like you've told that one a lot.
Yeah, from that point forward, anytime you ordered a foot long, my response would be, you need one. Okay. Speaking.
Wait, what was it? Hold on. You had a second observation, and also I want to show you, you're talking about tan. Patty Boyle with his Irish jeans. I played a little tennis yesterday. I applied sunscreen. I think it's inevitable I'm going to have skin cancer one day. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, it's going to happen.
That's sad.
Yeah, well, that's many lessons have not been learned. Many failed instances of applying sunscreen, protecting myself from the sun over and over again. Yesterday, I thought I did a great job of coating myself well. Take a look at the right arm, and you could probably see it on camera. That's, good little color there. Take a look at the left.
I'd hit the gym, but yeah.
Take a look at the left.
That's way tanner.
Well, it was beet red. It was beet red yesterday, and I just don't understand. I don't get it. I did an even coating both sides, did a little rub action as well, and my left arm got obliterated. My right arm's fine. So I don't know what to do anymore. I don't know what to do, and I don't want to be the guy that's like has to wear a shirt or has to wear long sleeves because I can't protect myself from the sun. But that is the road that I find myself heading towards closer and closer every day as I get older. So as much as I love summer and everything that comes with it, the one thing is inevitable sunburn no matter how hard I try. And you had a second observation, and I'd love to hear about it.
It's just that as a male, myself, when I look at myself in the mirror, I don't care how thin you are, how chubby you are. The male body's disgusting when you see it naked. Ugh. Disgusting. Just hair patches everywhere. I'm off on it. I'm out on the male body. Okay. That was it. Observation number 2. Observation number 3 is, speaking of tan bodies, there's a pool in Jacksonville where fans can watch Trevor Lawrence play football. That's what I got for you on a segue. The fans there will get to watch Trevor Lawrence play football, I think, for a long while now, as he has signed a contract extension. And Trevor Lawrence, to this point, has not been the chosen one the Jacksonville Jaguar fans were promised, but he's been fine. Nonetheless, he got paid like a player that should be more than fine. 5-year, $275 million deal. That's not really important. That's the number that's going to catch headlines. $200 million is guaranteed, including $142 at signing. That is juice. That's a lot. We're talking about an AAV north of 50, which is a good chunk of change. And there are quarterbacks on the horizon who want to get paid, like Dak Prescott, who are going to look at this and go, I've been better than Trevor Lawrence. I should get more than $50 million, which is another sign of this. Look, man, I like Trevor Lawrence. I think the Jaguars were stuck in no man's land. I also am a proponent, unlike Michael Lombardi, who seems to be a tool bag on Twitter when it comes to this, of good general managing practice being based on your coaching and based on what you've seen. Pay a guy in the NFL for what you think they're about to become, not what they already are. That's generally good practice. And if it blows up in your face, it blows up in your face. I think the Jags believe the best is yet to come for Trevor Lawrence, and why shouldn't they? But with that being said, whether he deserves or doesn't deserve, they kind of were stuck there. I mean, I think Trevor Lawrence would have got paid by somebody because of that, because of what they think he's about to become. And you don't want to be in no man's land. The Jaguars, though, in a weird spot. I think we entered last year assuming they would win the South, and then there they were in Week 18, and it was the Colts and Texans playing for it all. Is this a bounce-back spot year here for the Jags, Pat Boyle? You alluded to that. You think there could be some regression for C.J. Stroud. If there is it Trevor Lawrence and the Jags here that you love?
No, absolutely not. I think Trevor Lawrence stinks, flat out, right? I mean, I know you and I are professionals, right? And we're intricate We watch the game of football. We know ball, you and I. But there's sometimes, when you're talking with your friends, when you're hanging out, you're at a bar, you're having lunch, you're talking sports. Sometimes you just got to be blunt. And I think Trevor Lawrence just flat out stinks. I don't think he's great. I think he's a bust. I've said before, I think he's the biggest bust since Jamarcus Russell, and I've said that on national sports talk radio before, and people go, "What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Jamarcus Russell lasted 2 years. Trevor Lawrence has won a playoff game." I'm talking about the comparison of what we were promised Trevor Lawrence is going to be the next Peyton Manning, the next Andrew Luck. Like, those are the two guys that got hyped up as much as him. Peyton Manning, multiple-time Super Bowl winner. Andrew Luck, not so much. I think we understood and we recognized how great he was, and then injuries just derailed his career. Trevor Lawrence isn't even that. He's not even on what Andrew Luck's career trajectory was. He's not going anywhere near that trajectory, and he certainly, in my opinion, is never. And I know he's 3 years into his career. I don't think Trevor Lawrence has what it takes to ever be a top 5 quarterback in the league, let alone top 10. And all the excuses were built in for this guy coming out of Clemson in year one, right? When he's going to be great. As soon as he steps on the field, he's going to be awesome. He's got all the tools to be a legendary Hall of Fame quarterback. Yeah, he beats Alabama. Year one, he's got Urban Meyer, who was just a complete dirtbag. And things couldn't have gone worse in Jacksonville. Trevor Lawrence throws 12 touchdown passes, 17 picks, turns it over 22 total times. Last 2022 was, okay, Doug Peterson, this is the coming of age for Trevor Lawrence, had a really good year. Really good year. Even though Jacksonville, let me remind people that think that Jacksonville was like on the precipice of being a contender for the Super Bowl, that halfway through that season in 2022, they were a 500 football team. Actually, they were much worse. They were 4-8. That's how bad they were. And then they got hot. Sure, they went on a run. They beat some good teams. They beat the Cowboys in OT. They destroyed Houston. They took care of business. Obviously that's before C.J. Stroud. They beat Tennessee in the final week of the season. And then they found themselves down, 27-0 against the Los Angeles Chargers. And Brandon Staley and Justin Herbert and the Chargers did what they do best. And they gagged and they choked away in epic fashion. So they won.
Lawrence was part of that. Okay.
And you got to give Jacksonville credit. I'm not taking credit away. Any comeback of that magnitude, sure. And then they played Kansas City really tough. And it was like, hey, maybe the Chiefs found their match in the Jacksonville Jaguars. It turned out to be the Cincinnati Bengals. But, hey, Trevor Lawrence is going to be that much better next year, right? And then what did Trevor Lawrence do this past season? Sure, had some moments where he showed you the prowess, 21 touchdowns through the air, 4 on the ground, 14 picks, loses 7 fumbles, 21 turnovers, and a lot of them coming at the worst possible time. Just straight up dropping the ball out of his hands when he's trying to run the football. Making passes where guys are wide open and instead he throws it into double coverage, gets picked off. You could not have had a worse finish to the season as a team that was expected to cakewalk their way to a division title. And I know that Houston came and surprised everybody. And I'm not taking credit away from Houston. But if the Jacksonville Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence were anywhere near as good as they were supposed to be, they would have won that division hands down. They were 8-3, and they lost 6 out of the final 7 games. And now for Trevor Lawrence to be the highest paid quarterback, tied to be the highest paid quarterback in the NFL, I don't care about the market resetting. I don't care about other guys who are going to get paid, and he's going to be down to 5 or 6 in a year or so. He should never be the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. I don't think he's going to be good. I don't think Jacksonville's going to make the playoffs again. And I think we're going to be talking about Trevor Lawrence, the greatest quarterback that never was.
I like it. Good rant. I disagree, but good rant. I also got this text from soon-to-be father, my brother-in-law, Dennis. Happy future Father's Day to you. It's truly remarkable, Sean, that they pay you for the BetQL show every week. Nude beach stories, as the bottom line says, Trevor Lawrence, new deal. So we're making a lot of happy fans here this morning. Thank you all for tuning in. Nude beaches and Trevor Lawrence, both optical illusions, not what you were sold. How about that? That's the final tie-in today. All right, when we come back, dingers! We got our best Sunday bets on home runs. BetQL's 5-Star Weekend, presented by BetMGM.
BetQL 5-Star Weekend will be back on the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM.
Just want to make sure my mic's good. You got me. Test, 1, 2. Love it.
Welcome back to BetQL 5-Star Weekend on the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM.
BetQL's 5-Star Weekend humming along on this Father's Day, June the 16th, 2024. And when you think of fathers, you think dingers, home runs, throwing in the backyard, cranking a wiffle ball over the fence. Today, we're here to give you those in Major League Baseball. They're going to ding, a ling all day long. Tyler Morales, our producer, is here. Pat Boyle is here. Sean Morash is here. And we're each going to unveil you 3 bets, appropriately priced, that we think will go yard. We like it, Pat. We know the name of the game. It's called Dingbat. You ready to go? Tyler Morales is ready to go?
Oh, yeah.
All right, real quickly, I think we have to do what, how do we say, appropriate history tells us to do. You and I play rock, paper, scissors to see who will pick ahead of the other. Right?
Sure. And also, Shawnee, sorry to interrupt you here,
Yeah.
and sorry to sidetrack. Let me just, I gave out a live bet before. Yeah, I gave out a live bet before. Poland to a double chance, to not lose, win, or tie. You were getting the same value as you got pregame. I thought we were getting good value. You're getting good value. It was a 1-1 game, an hour in, 60 minutes in, and you're still getting close to the same value you had before the game started. Netherlands scored in the 83rd minute. They're winning 2-1. So unless Poland can find an equalizer, that's going to be a loss. But that's all right. That's That's very few losses we're going to have today. That's going to be one of them, it looks like.
Okay. You ready for rock, paper, scissors?
Yes.
Rock, paper, scissors says shoot. All right, you hit me. You hit me, bro. You got the rock, I got the scissor. That's the way it worked on radio. Tyler Morales is going to pick last because he still doesn't know how to use a camera. And Pat Boyle, you could pick first, and I will pick second, okay?
Yeah, did we hit the dingbat music yet?
Oh, Tyler, hold on. Tyler, you have a camera? How about speak up, bro? Get on camera.
I'm back today.
Let's see you.
Turn it on.
Let's see you here for all the people on Twitch.
Well, it's on right now,
let me turn it on.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go.
I'm
This
here.
doesn't look like a weird Dateline video at all. Can we play a 3-way rock, paper, scissors? Can we do that? Scratch ball. Actually, you know what? No. I lost fair and square already to Boyle. Tyler, you play Boyle for first pick. Go ahead.
All right, Tyler, here we go. Rock, paper, scissors, says shoot.
All right, so I'm last anyway.
That's a paper over a rock there. All right, and we have the dingbat song, right? We have the dingbat imaging. Why don't we fire that up?
All right, here we go.
Who will win? Who will lose? Who will look dumb? It's time for Dingbat with Sean Morash and Pat Boyle on the bet.
That's right. Shawnee, I'm a Cubs fan here. And you know what's a good tool to always use? Well, I've mentioned Swish analytics because they usually give you a good idea of the temperature, the wind, all the little extra miscellaneous stuff that you like to know as a bettor if you're thinking that you want to bet some home runs. You want everything going in your favor as possible. Well, there's a couple of websites that tells you how the wind is blowing at Wrigley Field, which historically can be a huge factor for home runs. And today, wind is blowing. It's gusting straight out to center field at Wrigley Field. We got a day game matinee, of course, in Wrigleyville, Cubbies, Cardinals. So I'm going to go ahead and start in that game. And why don't you go ahead and just give me Nolan Arenado? Just give me Nolan Arenado. Throw all the numbers out, the record books out. Throw them all out here. Nolan Arenado is going deep today just because I said so. Plus 375. Nolan, go deep. That's my first pick.
Okay. Tyler Morales. Wait, I'm second, right? I am? Okay.
Whoever wants to be.
Look, I will go here and tell you there is a game that has my eye. And the game is out west, taking place, I think, around 4 o'clock Eastern time, 1 o'clock Pacific. And that is the Giants and the Angels. Where else would you rather be on Father's Day than Giants and Angels? All right? All right? Kyle Harrison of the Giants, left-hander. Allowing 345 in his last 95 at-bats to righties, batting average. A lot of contact. So give me an Angel to destroy left-handed pitching. And the Angels have destroyed left-handers. Kevin Pillar specifically barely strikes out versus lefties and is hitting 346 versus them in the last 30 days. So that's the stat. I'm going real deep into this here as I've tried to deep dive who's right here. I'm taking Kevin Pillar. Kevin Pillar to hit a home run at plus 600 today off of Kyle Harrison on the Giants. To you, Tyler Morales.
All right, your boy needs a layup here because I think I've gotten one in the last month here. So we're going to go to... We're going to go to the Dodgers game against the Royals. They're playing against Brady Singer, who's been getting lit up. Shohei Ohtani was on an awful stretch for the past 2 weeks ago. Now he's finally starting to hit again, and the price is reflecting it. Plus 225 to hit a home run for Shohei Ohtani. Hopefully he's got his props today. So I need a layup here, so let's go Ohtani.
Okay. Patty Boyle.
Back to me. Guess where I'm going? I'm going back to Wrigleyville. I took a Cardinals hitter. Yeah, I took Nolan Arenado, who, by the way, those lineups are out. He's hitting 5th. 6 bombs on the year for Nolan. Notice I'm not going with the big guy, Nolan Gorman, who's got 15. I'm going Arenado. Pick number 2. Why don't we take a Cubby here? Miles Michaelis, however you pronounce it. By the way, is it Michaelis for you or is it Miles McCollus? I've heard both, but I feel like I usually hear Michaelis. I think you're confusing him with the hockey player that used to be on the Rangers and is now on the Panthers. Mikola. I think it's Michaelis.
That's Mikola. I always call him Michaelis, but maybe I'm wrong.
All right, well, either way.
Just give the winner out, you stupid idiot.
He's got he's got a 4.85 ERA this year. He's given up 12 bombs in 14 starts. So basically he's good for almost 1 per start here. So who on the Cubbies is going to go deep? Well, BetMGM right now, maybe if you wait a little bit, you get the full Cubbies lineup. Right now they're only offering a couple of hitters. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm not going to say that that's a disadvantage. I'm going to say that that's a sign. Give me Seiya Suzuki. Seiya to say see ya when he puts bat on ball. 8 bombs today, or 8 bombs this year for Seiya Suzuki. And I just had his odds right up in front of me, and now they're gone. Here we go. Seiya Suzuki plus 333 to go deep today as well.
Okay. That's fine. You know where I'm going? I'm going back to the Angels and Giants, and I've given you one on one side with Pillar and the Angels. I'm going to flip it around to San Francisco. Ben Joyce is starting for the Angels. Who? Here's why. He's an opener, which means you're going to get a bullpen game out of the Angels today. The Angels bullpen, though, stinks. They're 29th in the league in ERA with a 5.11 ERA. Okay? The Angels' pen also stinks in terms of keeping the ball in the ballpark. They've allowed 34 homers this season, the 4th most in Major League Baseball. What does that mean, Pat Boyle? It means, well, first of all, there's going to be a lot of runs in San Francisco and the Angels today. It also means somebody's going yard in that San Francisco lineup. I'm going to take maybe a little bit of a layup. Matt Chapman here at plus 460 odds to hit a home run. Giants and Angels. I've given you one for Pillar on the Angels side. I'm giving you one versus this Angels pen pitching all day. As Tyler Morales quickly goes, ooh, who could I bet on the San Francisco Giants? That's a lot of good details, Sean. Here we go. All right, Tyler Morales, what do you got?
I'm not kidding. I had somebody in that game, so I'm going to take him now before you probably loop around and take him again. So we're going to go Eloy Ramos plus 650 for the Giants. He's probably like the hottest hitter in baseball right now. In the last 2 weeks, batting 400 with 6 home runs. we want weather, winds blowing out to the outfield, and like Sean said, we got a bullpen game. So let's go Eloy Ramos plus 650 to hit a home run.
Okay.
Wow. How about that? And you know what? I like how we're all kind of honing in on one game each, it feels like. Shawnee, you did that strategy a couple weeks ago with the Phillies. And between, what was it, Schwarber, Bohm, and Harper, or Schwarber, Harper, and Castellanos. Yeah, like one of these guys is going deep. Well, you know what? Maybe that's the best way to play this game here. I'm going back to Wrigleyville. I'm going back to Cubs Cardinals. I'm taking 3 hitters from this game alone. The wind is blowing out. Somebody put the ball in the seats. Hopefully I picked the right one here. I'm just torn. Do I want to go Ian Happ at plus 360, who is hitting 5th in the lineup today for the Cubbies? Switch hitter, so he's going to be from the left side. Or do I want to go big left-handed Michael Busch, who's got 8 home runs on the year? He's plus 500, but he's hitting 7th in the lineup. So there is that chance that maybe he gets one less at bat. You know what? Give me the big guy. Give me big Mikey Busch to put one over the bushes, over the ivy, into the seats, make the people happy. Michael Busch plus 500. That's my last pick. Somebody in this Cubs-Cardinals game is going deep, if not multiple people. Let's hope that I got at least 1 out of the 3.
I'm going to stick with my strategy. Angels-Giants, where all Shoney's attention is going to be at 4 o'clock Eastern today. I'm going to take a little bit of a shot in the dark here. All right. Michael Conforto came back from the IL recently. He's only had 36 at-bats, hitting .083 since then. But prior to going on the IL, Conforto was raking a bit for San Francisco with 8 home runs. I gave you everything that had to do with that Angel bullpen opener game and everything. You know, plus 550 as I'm scrolling down here on the BetMGM app. Give me Michael Conforto to go yard for the San Francisco Giants. Back to you, Tyler.
I was just going to take Pat's pick, the one that he didn't take, and take Ian Happ, but I'll pivot from these games that we're doing. I'll go Julio Rodriguez, plus 450. I mean, for one of the best players in baseball. 2 home runs off Dane Dunning. He's had a really slow start this year, and the price is kind of reflecting that, but he has 2 home runs in this week. So let's go with J-Rod, plus 450 to hit a home run. One of these 3, gotta come home for me. I need one before I leave the show.
All right. I love it. And Tyler Morales signaling he probably is done next week, which is fine. You know, we cycle through producers the way, bad teams cycle through offensive coordinators here on BetQL's 5-Star Weekend, and that will bring a wrap to Dingbat. I am shocked, though. Nobody took the ultimate layup, which is Aaron Judge didn't homer yesterday. He will tonight up in Fenway, and I think it's only plus 200 odds at Sunday Night Baseball tonight. Again, not worth the juice, not having that much fun, but I think we all know Aaron Judge is going to hit a home run tonight. You can clip that, save that for a later mark. All right, only 1 hour left on the show. We got one more version of Hot Cakes and Hot Takes, and I have a Father's Day spin on that as well. Plus, of course, a horse is a horse, of course. We have GTFO, or Oh Yeah, coming up in the final hour of the show, and Patty's got a beefcake boil bet, give your dog a bone. I have a Sunday Scary, a parlay that'll blow your socks off, and of course, a D-Gen bet as well, which for me, betting Euro soccer and ties, well, that is as D-Gen as it gets. That's what we call a tease in the radio biz, if you will. All right, Pat, we come back. BetQL's 5-Star Weekend presented by BetMGM gets into its final hour. Let's cook next.
BetQL 5-Star Weekend will be back on the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM. Sunday service starts now. With Sean Marash.
I will punch you in your stupid face, and I hate the Knicks. I hate their fans.
And Pat Boyle.
That's probably why I'm not a GM in the NFL, but if I was, I would probably take a huge swing on Michael Penix.
Turning your faith into fortune.
Few things in the gambling world I can't wait to bet more than the Jets under right now.
While serving up hot takes and hot takes.
If Chet Holmgren was on that team, he's probably putting up better numbers than Wemby.
It's BetQL 5-Star Weekend, presented by BetMGM.
Here we go. Final hour of the show. BetQL's 5-Star Weekend presented by BetMGM. Sean Morash, Pat Boyle with you on this beautiful Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all. Plenty of baseball across the diamond, across the world. Of course, it would be across the diamond. Patty gave you plenty of plays in the Cubs and Cardinals. A reminder, that's the Roku game that will get the day started, whatever the heck channel that means, Roku TV. Here we go. Big U.S. Open. Today, let's see if, Patrick Cantley or Rory McIlroy make a charge up at Bryson DeChambeau. You get no NBA or no NHL tomorrow night. The NBA Finals will conclude. Well, boy, that tells you where I'm leaning on the Celtics. Tuesday night, you'll get a Stanley Cup game as well. By the way, hour number one, I feel strongly about this. Plus 141. Now, the odds have actually improved by a singular little decimal point. If you parlay both the Panthers and Celtics to win in Game 5, we've had a lot of fun with that. GTFO or Oh Yeah coming up in about 20 minutes. 40 minutes will give you our best bets of the day. But, Patty, on this Father's Day, we have one more edition of Hot Cakes and Hot Takes, and hopefully no more soccer losses. So let's get it going.
Good morning, people. Boy, do I need some hot takes and hot cakes. Pat Boyle and Sean Marash, give it to them.
I started last hour with a good 9-minute explanation of why I'm on the Jets under 9.5 wins, and it really hogged a lot of Pat's time, and he rushed in a soccer bet. So I'm going to bend the knee on this Game of Thrones House of the Dragon reunion night as that show returns, and hand it over to Pat Boyle to start us off with hot cakes and hot takes for hour number 3.
Thanks, Shawnee. Yeah. So I gave out a live bet. That's one where, you look back, you can say, you know what, I'm kicking myself. But it was a good process. It was Poland, Netherlands, and it was 1-1 in the 59th, 60th minute. Netherlands was they were close to the same price as they were pregame. And you had a tie game with 2/3 of the way through. So I was like, hey, getting good value. Poland's been scrappy. They didn't have Robert Lewandowski, who is their big striker. And I think everybody kind of just wrote them off as they were going to get crushed by the Netherlands, who's probably the 5th or 6th highest betting odds to win this tournament. And I was like, give me Poland to pull out a tie here, or to win it. So to not lose, win or tie, plus 115. Didn't work out. Netherlands gets a goal in the 83rd minute. We move on. We're not going to sulk because I got another soccer game for you here. The big one today at 3 Eastern is England versus Serbia. England is the betting favorite to win this tournament. Is it finally going to come home? I heard that 3 years ago when my country, my heritage, I am Irish, yes, Patty Boyle, but I'm also half Italian. So how you doing when they took down England in penalties to win the title? Now England is the favorite, the odds-on favorite to win the tournament. And let's see how they do today. They're going to get a scrappy Serbia team. And here we go. Here's one that I could be kicking myself after because I was thinking of a different bet. Both teams to score is plus 100 on BetMGM. I'm not going to do that because, yes, I could see this being 2-1 England, but I could also see if England really is the real deal. And they're historically slow starters at this tournament, but I don't want to, I'm going to reference something in 1968 as to why I'm making a bet. Absolutely not. I think that's the dumbest thing ever. The Boston Celtics have never won a Game 5 at home. Here's the dates that they lost: 1972, 1980. You can't go off that. It's 50 years ago, totally different team, totally different makeup. So what I'm going to go with is over 2.5 goals between Serbia and England, minus 120 on BetMGM. Because, yes, I could see 2-1. I could see both teams scoring. I could also see England totally dominating this game, proving they are the real deal, proving why they are the betting favorites. I could see them winning this 3-0 here. So rather than saying both teams will score, I'm going to go over 2.5. I think this is 2-1. I think it could be 3-0, could be 3-1, but England's got unbelievable firepower. They've got the best player in the world this year. This year, it was Phil Foden of Manchester City. They've got Bukayo Saka. They have got talent up and down. They've got Jude Bellingham's one of the best young players in the world. But also, Serbia's got some good attackers. And this guy who you're going to hear about, their best player is Mitrovic, who now plays in Saudi Arabia, and another one that took the bag and ran with it. But he used to play in the Premier League in England. They've got another guy, Dusan Vlahovic, who plays for Juventus in Italy. They've got some firepower. They've got some good attacking power here. And I don't just think that Serbia is going to come out here and just totally sit back and try to get a 1-1 draw or 1-1 tie. I think they realize, hey, if we're going to have a chance of qualifying for the knockout stage, we got to try to take it to England. And I think maybe early on you get some early fireworks, but I do think you have plenty of action in this one. I don't think it's going to be a boring defensive game. I think England is out to prove that they should be the betting favorite. I think they are going to be confident. I think they could put 2 or 3 goals in the back of the net here. So that's where we're going, Shawnee. Who loves betting overs? Everybody does. Sometimes the under is the right play, but for me, not only is it the fun bet to make, it's the right bet to make. England, Serbia, over 2.5. And Shawnee is on mute. So let's see.
Can I ask you something important?
Go ahead.
And maybe this is a dumb question. I don't know. Because again, I'm very soccer novice. How come, like, what did America do wrong to not qualify for this tournament?
We're not in Europe. This is the Euros, the European Championships. So unless we are somehow in Europe, unless we are part of a different continent, we can't play in this tournament. So yes, dumb question from you. Copa America, which the USA will be in, starts in a couple of days. And we are not favored to do all that great in there because all the South American countries, Brazil, Argentina, are head and shoulders better than us. But yes, we are not in Europe, so we won't be participating in the European Championships.
Well, I'd like to have the last minute back. That makes a lot of sense. As now I'm looking down the odds, that would make sense. No Argentina either. So the Copa Americana. Well, that should tell you all my soccer knowledge. And my heart hurts right now very badly. My chest hurts very badly. This could be a very tough, difficult pivot. I was ready to basically take a you-know-what on American soccer. Here we go. Another tournament we didn't qualify on. Turns out ineligibility. Ineligibility. All right. Well, how do I do this now?
I just like that's like that's like asking why are the Cowboys not favorite to win the AFC North? Well, they're not in it.
Yeah, boy. Well, what time is it? All right, hot cake and hot take time. Look, today's a great day, Father's Day. All the dads should enjoy, and I could tell you the way my day started. I woke up bushy-tailed, rubbed my eyes together, said energetic. I'm going to start the day, good mindset. I got on my Peloton bike, started riding my bike, popped my earphones in. Somewhere, and a lot of parents could probably relate to this, in the middle of the night, there was like a musical chair shuffle. I ended up with one of my kids in my bed. My wife was with the other kid in that kid who ended up in our kid's bed. Whatever. The point I say this is because my daughter woke up about midway through my ride. She turned over, and the first thing she said to me was, "Happy Father's Day, Daddy." She remembered immediately today was Father's Day, and she wished me a happy Father's Day. 4 years old, my heart melted on that bike. Thank you so much, sweetheart. That means the world to me. And as great as that moment was, it got me further realizing and further thinking. I've had this take for Valentine's Day. I've had the take for Mother's Day, but really I can't be selfish. Father's Day falls in this too. In a world with a lot of outrage, a lot of hate, a lot of everything, we should just be appreciating fathers, mothers, and your loved ones on Valentine's Day all year long. And I really hate the idea of Hallmark holidays. Why should anybody be spending money to buy me a card today or buy any of the fathers a card? Same thing with Mother's Day, or same thing with, we need these reminder holidays to appreciate those around us. I got a birthday. I think that's great. Like, if my kids want to celebrate me on my birthday, I think it's great. Don't get me wrong, I'm going to have a good day. I'm going to grill. I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to drink today. But shouldn't it be something we appreciate all moms, all dads, all loved ones for? You shouldn't be having to force feed excuses to throw, some sausage and some seafood on a grill and enjoy everybody's company. So I'm just saying this to say, I think it's a great day, and I'm sure everybody's going to have fun. I'm going to have a blast today. I'm sure Mother's Day was great for everybody. I'm sure Valentine's Day, people love a good price fix, getting crammed into a restaurant just to tell you, sweetheart, you love them and find an excuse to get engaged, this, that, and the other thing. I think Hallmark holidays, though, overall should be abolished. And I think that we should really get to the point where find some time to celebrate the fathers every weekend, the mothers every weekend, if you can. You shouldn't have to go to your way to buy special gifts and everything today. Hallmark holidays, my hot take, get them out. Should be done with them.
Wow. Look at Shawnee. I appreciate my wife and everybody every day. Not
No, I don't. But I'm guilty of this too. I don't. But like, I don't know, the hustle and bustle today of like Father's Day, I don't know. What I should just get an I love you every day. Yeah, why not? Why do I need the special? Like my kid with the very dramatic, every day she get that big hug, which she does for the most part. So as good as it was, I'm gonna of course take it to a negative because I'm a pig.
Okay. As long as we got the admission. Jeez, turning into you, I can't think of words.
Boyle, let's be real. Do you like that around February 14th, after you spent a bunch of money on Christmas, the holidays, and whatnot, you're racing to get, figure out, make sure the flowers are sent to, whatever girlfriend you're trying to woo's work. You got to outdo the other guy who's with that girl there. Do you like on Mother's Day? It's like, oh, God, here we go. What do I got to figure out? Restaurant, gift card, candles. What am I doing here? And if you don't do the right thing, with your wife who's a mother of kids and you're screwed there. And then Father's Day, I don't know, you're running around doing this, that, let me get the sausage, let me get this, let me get that. Like, we shouldn't have to go through the hustle and bustle just to tell everybody we love them when we appreciate what their role is in life.
I agree. And most, you're a loving father, you're a loving son, you're a loving husband. So I do genuinely believe that you act like that 365, or for the most part, almost every
I have
day.
my bad moments. My bad moments. I'm not going to act like America's hero.
Well, yes, but I would say yes. I hate Valentine's Day. Like I can't stand it. So, and that's why I'm probably single. But I see what you're saying.
For the record, Valentine's Day is the biggest pig Hallmark holiday of them all. We just got through the holidays in wintertime here. Enough with the gifts.
Yes, absolutely correct. I totally agree with you 1,000% there. Mother's Day, Father's Day, the way I look at it is it's an extra appreciation. If you do everything you're supposed to be doing as a son, you show your mom love, you call her, you check in with her, you get her some nice stuff, you take her out to dinner every now and then. Like Mother's Day is just the cherry on top. And that's where I think if you do appreciate your mother, you do appreciate your father on Mother's Day and Father's Day, just the little things will suffice, right? The flowers and candy, or flowers and something small. You don't got to go over the top and prove that you're a good son after not doing it for 364 other days of the year. But just the flowers and the candle, and hey, Mom, I love you, Mother's Day. Thank you for being a great mom. I know I tell you every day, but I just want to let you know even more so today. I think that's I don't mind Mother's Day, Father's Day. I see what you're saying with the hustle and bustle. I don't think it's a big deal. Like today, I felt good waking up, texting my dad, hey, man, happy Father's Day. Love you. Thanks for being the best. Like, my family's having breakfast right now. I would be there if not for this show. But, just a little just a little extra stuff there. So I see where you're coming from, but I guess I kind of disagree with you.
That's fine. By the way, you just remind me to text my dad happy Father's Day. I was going to see him later anyway, but, probably a little text. But then again, you know what? Not for nothing. He didn't text me. I'm a father. I'm a son. I didn't get that text. So who's in the wrong there? Who should be exchanging that text first?
He's your father. He's your father. You are the father, Bob the Deli Man. You should be texting him first.
I'm the oldest, though. So,
but he's your dad.
Whatever. He's
your dad. It's Father's Day.
Parlay cards and whatnot. What's your favorite Father's Day tradition? Is it the U.S. Open being played in the last round?
I would say yes, that, and again, the breakfast, the big breakfast spread that my family puts out for Father's Day, that my mom and my sister and my dad orchestrates it too, but he kind of orchestrates his own Father's Day breakfast. But we're all together, and we're just usually beautiful weather around this time, so you get a nice little crisp Sunday morning outside on the back deck at the Boyle Estate. That's my favorite part, and I'm missing it, so I'm gonna be racing home as soon as this show is done.
You know what I don't like? We used to, with the NBA schedule, this would be Game 7 of the NBA Finals, would fall on the Sunday night of Father's Day. The infamous LeBron block shot, by the way, happened on Father's Day night. And I don't know if it's a this year thing or last year thing. Father's Day didn't move up a week, right? Like it's always been around this week. Why is the NBA a week? We're so past COVID. We really stretched this thing out that much that Game 7 would still be another week from now. It used to always be Father's Day night.
We've got the second possible earliest Father's Day here. It's always the third Sunday in June. The first Sunday in June happened to be June 2nd. So if it was the first Sunday was June 4th or 5th, we'd be getting Father's Day the 18th, the 19th. You know, you could get a Father's Day on June 21st, I think. So that's why.
Gotcha. All right, so it's not the NBA's fault. It's the calendar's fault. I stand corrected. So much for Father's Day tradition. All right, we come back. GTFO or Oh Yeah, America's favorite weekly game at 11:20 a.m. Eastern Time. He's Pat Boyle. I'm Sean Morash. You're the audience. This is BetQL's 5-Star Weekend presented by BetMGM.
BetQL 5-Star Weekend will be back on the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM.
Why did
Baseball is winning on the BetQL Network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've looked at this over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL Network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've looked at this over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is. Welcome back to BetQL 5-Star Weekend on the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM.
Father's Day Sunday, BetQL 5-Star Weekend. Had a fun morning here with Pat Boyle. Gone in depth on everything, man. NBA Finals, Stanley Cup Final, Trevor Lawrence's contract, Aaron Rodgers, and his whole ordeal from the week, Euros, which America does not qualify for based on continent. We've done it all here this morning on BetQL's 5-Star Weekend. So without further ado, I love this kind of bullet point segment where we kind of rip through some things maybe we haven't discussed in great detail, give some quick thoughts to. It's called GTFO or Oh Yeah, and we're going to bring it to you now.
Time for GTFO or Oh Yeah.
Start it out, baby. Aaron Judge will win AL MVP right now at negative odds, minus 125 at BetMGM. Pat Boyle.
Man. I mean, the way, you think about the April he had, Sean, he was horrendous, right? The batting average was in the high 100s. He couldn't hit. We were wondering if he was still hurt, if, the toe and the foot from running into that stupid wooden slab at Dodger Stadium last year, where he ended up missing basically 2 months, if that was still affecting him. And now he's just destroying baseballs left and right. I mean, the OPS is through the roof. He's taking his walks too. It's tough to see him not winning MVP. But, I mean, we're talking about it's June 16th. It's Father's Day. And Aaron Judge, you have to pay some juice to bet him to win the AL MVP. I think just on principle alone, I can't do it. And if he runs away with the award, sure. But he's got a guy that hits in front of him, Juan Soto, who had a little forearm scare. He's been back. He can easily win the MVP too. Soto can get on a stretch where he's red hot. Judge has a little bit of a slump. I mean, it's just too much. I can't be putting negative odds, paying the piper to bet Judge to win the MVP when we're not even at the All-Star break yet. I can't do it. So it's good GTFO just on principle. But I mean, the way Judge is hitting, it's tough to imagine him not winning it.
So again, this is the name of the game on the question, right? He will win MVP. I'm going to say, oh yeah, he will win MVP. But I'm with you in that I cannot at a principle bet him based on the timing and also, watching every Yankee game like I do. I'm going to whisper this so everybody can hear me. Juan Soto is the MVP of the Yankees, not Aaron Judge. It is Juan Soto who is the MVP of the Yankees. And by the way, we learned that in the 3 games he missed versus the Dodgers, where suddenly you saw what an Aaron Judge raking Yankee team looks like. They still lose ball games to a good team. So yeah, he's going to win. The odds are ridiculous to do that. And if I really, really wanted to be truthful, if we're being real about what the MVP, the most valuable player, should be, to me, it's the second favorite or third favorite, however you want to look at it, Bobby Witt Jr. What are the Kansas City Royals are a playoff team right now in that wild card? And what are they without Bobby Witt Jr.? Maybe one of the worst teams in baseball. So the Yankees without Aaron Judge, as long as they have Juan Soto, would they be a playoff team? Probably. So what? How can I stake the claim that technically the most valuable player is Aaron Judge when he has maybe a better player on his team? And I'm a Yankee fan telling you that. So The answer is yes, he's going to win the MVP, but betting wise, it's still too early to do that at those odds, and I don't necessarily believe that he really is the MVP.
And you just hit on it, Sean, too. What's the chances that, like, if Judge goes through a mini slump, like even, like the miniest of slumps for like 2 weeks, and Soto then tears the cover off the ball, is there, and they kind of just, like, is there a chance they cancel each other out here just because, and I think we've talked about this before, is there a chance they cancel each other out because they're both so good? And it's like, okay, well, like you said, what's the definition of MVP? How good is the team without these guys? We don't really know how good the Yankees are without Judge and or Soto because they both have been mashing. They both have been raking. Like you said, the Royals, not nearly as good of an offense without Bobby Witt Jr. And even though Baltimore's stacked and they've got plenty of arms, like Gunnar Henderson has been the best shortstop in baseball this year. So, like, how valuable is he to that team? He's crucial. He's vital. Same thing with Jose Ramirez, whose the numbers don't stack up with these guys yet. But how good is Cleveland without Joran, without Jose Ramirez? So I think there's a chance that Judge and Soto could do a little canceling out of each other.
I would also argue that when Aaron Judge basically went 0 for April until early May when he had that ejection and then turned it on, the Yankees were one of the best teams in baseball, and it was because Juan Soto was doing incredible things. So I've seen this Yankee team but without Aaron Judge, right? Like, he sucked in April, and the Yankees were humming along. I saw in a very small sample size this Yankee team without Juan Soto, and they didn't hum along. They lost 2 straight games to the Dodgers before figuring it out on Sunday Night Baseball a week ago. So just from that standpoint alone, if we're going for the definition of literally the most valuable to the current roster they're on, it's not Aaron Judge. It would be a Bobby Witt Jr., to a lesser extent Gunnar Henderson. They still have Adley Rutschman and company there. But really, the MVP is just about who's the best player in the league. We've seen that too many times, and that's why Aaron Judge will win. I don't have the stomach to bet it or the feel because, like you said, if he gets hurt, goes through a slump, minus 125 is not enough juice. All right, the LA Chargers will make the playoffs. That's at negative odds at minus 110 at BetMGM. Pat Boyle, I'll give you your take. We did a little Chargers earlier. I want to hear what you have to say here.
Yeah, this is GTFO for me. And Jimmy Harbaugh is a phenomenal coach. He's proven he can get to the Super Bowl, and he can also win college national championships. And this division is weak. That's the thing that they got going from. That's why you're basically getting the Chargers a coin flip as to whether they will make or miss the playoffs. And I know Herbert got hurt last year, so that's why they had an ugly 5-12 looking record. He had Easton Stick playing quarterback, and Brandon Staley is a horrible head coach. So it's like, hey, turn the page, fresh page there. But yeah, like you said before, Shawnee, they lost Keenan Allen. They lost Mike Williams. They really never replaced them, right? I mean, they drafted Ladd McConkey, and they've got Josh Palmer and Quentin Johnston, who I thought was going to be a monster rookie last year, and kind of never really got going. And a lot of that was because of Herbert's injuries. But, they bring in 2 often injured running backs in Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins to replace what looked like Austin Eckler went from going 29 to 45 years old just last year. Lost all explosiveness, and I'm sure he was banged up dealing with some injuries. But, they lost their 3 best offensive playmakers from last year's team. So Herbert throwing the ball to Josh Palmer, Quentin Johnston, Will Dissly's the tight end there now too, and then handing the ball off to Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins, hoping those guys can stay healthy all year long with an offensive line that, yes, they drafted Joe Alt. That was the big addition. We thought maybe they were going to go wide receiver. Instead, they go the big Notre Dame monster tackle. So you would think that Herbert's going to have protection on both sides, bookend with Rashawn Slater, who's been pretty good, but the interior offensive line has not been great. And the defense, although they've got plenty of star power, I would say, on paper, Joey Bosa, another guy that got hurt, Khalil Mack, flip a coin if he's going to stay healthy. It's been an atrocious defense for the last couple of years. So the division is weak outside of Kansas City. The schedule is a little soft. They play Carolina. They play Arizona on the road this year. I can't get behind the Chargers totally turning this around in year 1 of Jim Harbaugh. So a bit of a long answer for me there, Shawnee. Sorry, but I'm going to say GTFO.
No, I'm on GTFO also. If this question read, the LA Chargers will probably make the playoffs at minus 110, I would say, oh, yeah, they probably will. But definitively will? I got to see it first here. The thing that pulls me more towards the will is, like you said, the schedule. And they're going to have a couple of those dates there specifically versus they play the whole AFC North. And I think that's going to end up figuring out itself. If the Chargers are going to make the playoffs, they can't go 0 for the AFC North. So even if they say lost to the Ravens and the Bengals, go beat the Browns and the Steelers, both of those games, by the way, in Pittsburgh and in Cleveland. And I think ultimately you're going to figure out who your last wild card is based off those kind of games when it comes to tie-break situations in the AFC. One of those teams will ultimately get in, and it has a good chance of being the Chargers, but they're going to take care of business. Think about that. The two teams you think they'd have to beat to get in over would probably be Steelers and Browns, right? Both of those games are on the road. So that's why I can't definitively say it. I like the way the Chargers are changing things up. I like Harbaugh as a coach. Remember, short-lived. I can't definitively say the Chargers, especially at minus odds, will make the playoffs. What do you got? You got something else?
Yeah, well, I was going to say, I mean, like, unless there's a massive surprise, are they winning the AFC West? Are they winning the division over the Chiefs? No. So then, like you said,
Right.
They got to get into the wild card. So let's just, for the sake of the argument here, let's just say Bills win the AFC, or, even Dolphins win the AFC East. Let's say the Ravens win the North, Texans win the South, Chiefs win the West. So they have to get in over the Buffalo Bills, the New York Jets, like you said, Browns, Steelers, Bengals, maybe Jacksonville. I know I just crapped on Jacksonville.
Right.
So that, like, those are 6 teams, 7 teams.
Jeez, and you don't know, dude. Dude, we played the last week of the year last year with, led by Gardner Minshew, the Indianapolis Colts alive. Anthony Richardson has a big year. You never know with them either. So it's so variable in the AFC right now for me to say definitively the Chargers will. So I look at their schedule. Something tells me the Chargers are going to find their way to 10 games. It does. I do believe that, but it just, I got to see it first here before I'm laying minus odds. It's not like I'm getting plus 220 here on them making the playoffs, something like that. All right. GTFO or oh yeah. The Cowboys will repeat as NFC East champs at plus 120. Remember, the NFC East has this incredible role of no repeat champs for forever. It's been a lot of Cowboys and Eagles rotating. Washington's been rotating. Giants haven't done it in over 10 years. Cowboys repeating as NFC East champs. I'm going to start this one, Pat, because I love the NFC East. The streak ends. I think the Cowboys will win the division at plus 120. And it has nothing to do with the two bottom feeders right now as the Giants try to figure out their own problems. Washington with Jaden Daniels. I feel as if what we saw at the end of last year, Sirianni, Hurts, A.J. Brown pouting, this just screams, let's add a bunch of guys like Saquon Barkley. The Eagles screamed to me 2011 Eagles, where everybody thought they were just going to roll and be the dream team and have a letdown. The Cowboys will let you down, but they will let you down in January and in the playoffs where they ultimately come up short. But I think you're staring right down at another 12-13 win regular season Cowboy team here, especially with Dak playing for a contract.
I'm going to agree with you. I think we've been in agreement on all 3 of these so far here. Outside of the Judge one, which, like you said, will he win the MVP? Should we bet him to win the MVP? No, but will he win the MVP? You think yes. I'm in agreement with you on here. I think the streak does end. I think, whatever Philadelphia that collapsed last year, I don't think that they're just, they hire 2 new coordinators and the culture the locker room is fixed. Right? We heard the issues and the rumors of them having to go bowling or whatever to try to improve team chemistry with A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts. I think it was a sign of things to come. I think they had their one shot to win the Super Bowl with this core, and they missed on it. They should have beat Kansas City, and they didn't. And I don't think this team is ever really going to get back to those heights. So, and then, again, the Giants and the Commanders going to win the division? I mean, absolutely not. So, yes, I think the Cowboys are Philadelphia. And I think Dallas they're a phenomenal regular season team. That's not disputable. But come January, they'll probably find a way to choke and gag it away yet again. But I do think they will be the best team in the NFC East. So I'm in agreement with you there, Shawnee. And I want to ask you this one as well, because you're the big Giants fan here. Malik Neighbors, all the hype. It is loud. It is deafening. I'm hearing Odell Beckham, OBJ, over and over and over again. The one-handed catches he's making at mini camp and OTAs and rookie camp. Malik Neighbors will be the best rookie wide receiver this season. GTFO or oh yeah?
GTFO. But that doesn't mean Malik Neighbors isn't going to be awesome. I think Malik Neighbors is going to be a game changer for the Giants. I think there's going to be at least 2 games this year that the Giants win because Malik Neighbors is a Giant. Like, that's how good I think he's going to be. And I don't think the quarterback situation, let's not pretend that Daniel Jones can't throw a football. I mean, he found Jalen Hyatt early plenty last year. The reason I say GTFO, though, I think Kyler Murray is going to be so locked into Marvin Harrison Jr. in every Cardinal game that for somebody like that who basically is a video game, I think that Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to have off-the-chart stats, and I think they're going to complete a ton of those passes. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be your offensive rookie of the year in the end when all is said and done. And I think Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr. are going to basically love each other all season.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's tough to disagree with that one. And I think we said, too, if Caleb, just for anybody that hasn't heard this conversation, we're talking about Offensive Rookie of the Year award. We've gone through that a couple of weeks ago. Roma Dunze, never bet Roma Dunze for this award, because if he has a good year, that means Caleb Williams probably had a decent year, and Caleb Williams will win Offensive Rookie of the Year award. But yes, Marvin Harrison is the big weapon now on Arizona. Let's do one more, Shawnee. What do you want to do? You pick.
Let's do Charles Barkley, who announced his retirement from TNT. Do you believe this will be Charles Barkley's last year on TV? I'm GTFO, man. Money talks, and this is a money play. Whether it's Amazon, whether it's NBC, somebody will ultimately pay Charles Barkley. What the heck does he care if he already announced his retirement?
1,000% agree, right? I mean, you could just easily unretire. And, Chuck, just like when Chuck speaks, he's speaking from his heart, and a lot of times without a filter. So, I've heard Chuck say before, he hates politicians, and yet he's on, he's doing political shows. But he's always talked about money and how important that is, and how much of a motivating factor that is for athletes and former athletes. He's going to be on TV. He knows that he's going to get a big offer. He's going to take it. GTFO. Chuck is not done on TV.
All right, our best bets are coming. We have a degeneration bets. I got a parlay cooked up for you. Sunday Scary and Boyle's got a beef bet as well. Our Father's Day best plays of the day, of the week, coming up next. It's BetQL's 5-Star Weekend, presented by BetMGM.
BetQL 5-Star Weekend will be back on the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM. Is winning on the BetQL Network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've looked at this over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL Network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've looked at this over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at
say.
this over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
Welcome back to BetQL 5-Star Weekend on the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
BetQL's 5-Star Weekend. How's everybody doing? Sean Morash, Pat Boyle, having a good old time here on this Father's Day. All right. We love good bets, right? Like, that's why we're here. We love, what should we call them? Winning. Winning's big. So with that, we unveil here our best bets of the day. And we usually start off with a little something dirty, a little something gritty with a degeneration bet. Let's give it to us.
I might be a year older, I might be a little grayer, but at the end of the day, I'm still a degenerate.
Okay. As you heard at the start this hour, soccer and me, we're like lamb and tuna fish. You're not exactly two things you put together, okay? I try hard. I do this. You never saw Big Daddy?
Yes, like lemon tuna fish.
Yeah, thank you. There's the play there. It would help if I knew the teams in here. But you know what? I knew the Euros were on the card because I'm a degenerate and I'm going through my gambling and I'm going through all those wins. And I once basically paid for an entire bachelor trip to Vegas on hitting on a couple draw bets. And betting a draw on soccer can feel dirty. It can feel real degenerate, especially here in America, right? We love winners. But I'm here to give you my DGen bet of the day. And I take you to a game starting in about 18 minutes, Slovenia and Denmark in the Euros. And I am on a draw at plus 230. Now, the under 2.5 in the goals is minus 143. It tells me they expect obviously a very low scoring game in here. And with Serbia and England waiting for both of these teams with Slovenia and Denmark, that tells me a loss here is absolutely crippling to the loser. I think you're going to see a little tight, a little reserved. not doing anything too aggressive that's going to put yourself at a loss. And what does that get me to? A 0-0 or a 1-1 type draw. Slovenia and Denmark, plus 230 on the draw. There's my DGen bet of the day. Pat Boyle, to you.
Let's have a little fun for just 2 minutes here. Can you name? Can you give me the first name of any of these players today between Denmark and Slovenia? Give me a first name that you think is a Danish first name or a Slovenian first name that you think would be the name for any of these guys.
Hans.
I don't think there's a Hans, not at least in the starting lineup. I don't think there is.
Damn. Okay. What about Hugo?
I don't think there's a Hugo either.
What about Earl?
No, give me like some common European names. You'll like just think of what common European names. You'll get one.
Nikita.
I don't think there is.
I don't know any common European names.
Think of like what's like the most common what's the most common US name?
Joe.
No, close.
Bob.
Nope. John.
Jim.
John. What's the European?
Jurgen.
No, what's the European version of John?
Johan.
Oh my god.
Jan?
Yeah, yes, Jan. Not Jan. Jan. Jesus Christ, man.
You gotta be kidding me. All right.
All right. We got a couple of Jans today on both sides. Anyway, here we go. You got a couple of Jonases. You got a Casper. That's my favorite.
Casper? I was going to say Casper.
There is a Casper. Casper Schmeichel. He's the goalie.
Thank you, Dan Turner, for texting me to help me cheat.
Okay. All right. Enough of that. I'm going to give you my my DGen bet. You know I'm a big tennis guy. So normally tennis isn't DGen for me, but it is when you go to the Challenger Tour, a.k.a. like the minor leagues of tennis.
Yeah.
That's where I'm going for a DGen bet here because you got a guy who's a top 40 player in the world playing in a Challenger tournament this week. And that would be from Italy, Luciano Darderi, who's playing in a Challenger clay tournament in Italy, in Perugia. He is a clay court player. So while the grass court season has started, we're only 2 weeks away from Wimbledon, Shawnee. That's going to be big for me coming up here in the next 2 weeks. You wait. We'll have our British bacon. We'll have our Cheerio, our berries and cream. Boy. We'll have our tea. We'll have plenty of Wimbledon bets for you. But today, I'm going to a Challenger clay tournament in Italy. And Luciano Darderi is he's a pretty decent sized favorite against a guy from India, Sumit Nagal. But the Darderi has been crushing people this week. So for him to win 2-0, 2-0, BetMGM does have that in the great state of New Jersey, but I shopped around. I found a better price, minus 120 for Darderi to win 2-0, to win 2-0. I think he's just going to steamroll through Nagal, who, by the way, played a match that lasted almost 3 hours yesterday, played a near 3-hour match earlier in the week, so I think the legs are a little tired. Darderi's got the home crowd on his side. He's the much better player. He's in form. He's rolling through this tournament. So nearly even odds for him to win 2-0. I think it happens. There's Patty's DGen bet of the day.
All right. And without further ado, I got a parlay to give you. Here's my Sunday Scary.
The weekend is almost over, but there's still time to place just one more bet. Don't panic. There's still time to win it all back. It's time for the Sunday Scaries.
Dun, dun, dun. All right. It's time to get frightened. You've dug yourself a hole. You had Scotty Scheffler winning the U.S. Open, and you don't know what to do with the losses that have piled up here. You had the Celtics in a Game 4. You don't know what to do. How do I make my money back? I got a Sunday Scary for you. Okay, here we go. I'm going to give you 5 legs. Around 16-1 is how I got it, plus 1,600. And without further ado, Two of these legs are going to be the legs I started the show with, and they don't take place today. I like the Celtics in Game 5. I like the Panthers in Game 5, and we're not screwing around with spreads or puck lines or this, that, and the other thing. Just straight money lines. If you just want to do those two, you can get a plus 140 odds. I'm tacking on to that. So I'm going to use those two as the basis here to build up my other three legs, which are all going to take place on the baseball diamond. Patty Boyle loves a lot of homers in the Cubs-Cardinals game, which I think is great. Good for him. You know what I like? Jameson Taillon to strike out at least 4 Cardinals today, the starter for the Cubs. 4+ Ks for Jameson Taillon on the hill versus the Cardinals. Runs. Now, should be warm, I believe, in Baltimore the last I looked. The Phillies and Orioles, that fun little interleague rivalry. But you know we have Zach Wheeler and Corbin Burns looking to outdeal each other on the hill today. Seems low. I'm taking the under 7 runs. I don't think you get a lot of, I think it's a 3-2 type game. Very tight between the Phillies and the Orioles with those two on the bump. Positive money, though, if you were betting this singularly, and that's the Mets and Padres at 7.5 runs. It's plus 104 singularly on the over run total, but I'm going to do it. That's going to be my tack on fifth leg here. Dylan Cease, Tyler McGill here on the mound. Citi Field, beautiful day in New York. Give me the Padres and Mets over. So I'm giving you 3 overs or unders, 3 totals, sorry. 2, I'm sorry. The Phillies and Orioles under 7 runs, over 7.5 in Padres Mets, 4 or more Ks for Jameson Taillon versus the Cardinals, and the Florida Panthers money line, the Celtics money line, 5 legs, plus 160 right now. I'm sorry, plus 1,600 right now. I'm just word garbage. Those are my 5 legs. Here's Patty Boyle.
Thank you, Sean. That was
quite a lot to get out there.
Yeah, that was quite the twist and turns there. That was like stumbling upon a 6'2", 280-pound behemoth of a man naked on a nude beach with
tie-in. I gave you Jameson Taillon, and you did a segment tie-in.
Just before we get to my best bet here, I really do hope you have a phenomenal rest of your Father's Day, Shawnee.
Thank you.
You're a phenomenal girl dad. I hope your girls hug you tight. I hope they really snuggle up with you, and I hope everybody out there has a tremendous Father's Day today. And like you said, Sean, for you hate the Hallmark holidays, love and cherish your parents, your loved ones every day, not just on the days where we super celebrate them.
You damn right.
All right. I'm going to take a page right out of our pal Nick Kostos' book, the heart and soul of the BetQL network, when I think it was the Masters. And everybody was saying, where can you find value to win the tournament? This was before the tournament started. And he goes, I don't care about value. I care about who's going to win. And I like Scotty Scheffler. He's got the shortest odds. I think he's going to win. And he ended up winning quite easily. So I'm taking a page out of Nick Kostos' book here, and I'm pissed off. I'm angry that a lot of people are hoping that Bryson DeChambeau chokes this away. And he's got a 3-stroke lead, and he's close to plus money favorite. So here we go. Boyle's beef bet. Let's hit it.
Pat Boyle's Beef Bet of the Week. I'm angry. I'm ready. I need to bet. It's Pat Boyle's Beef Bet of the Week on the Bet.
Yeah, I got beef. I got beef with America. I got beef with golf fans that want to see DeChambeau choke this away. I think that Rory McIlroy is going to win his first major in the last decade. Feels like it's been 20 years since Rory won anything. And a bunch of guys, like you said, Shawnee, Hideki Matsuyama, Patrick Cantley, Mathieu Pavon, the Frenchman, Ludwig Oyberg, who's slowly becoming one of the best golfers in the world, the Swede. None of these guys have the juice to overtake Bryson here. I got beef with people that don't think that Bryson can hold on to this 3-stroke lead. He is minus 125 to win the U.S. Open here. I'm taking it. That's my best bet today. If for many of you that are watching golf today with your father, with your dad, with your loved ones, just get ready for Bryson to win his second major, the first since the 2020 U.S. Open. He's not going to choke this lead away. He's been putting excellently all week, and this isn't the Bryson, too many people think that Bryson DeChambeau is still Bryson DeChambeau from 3 years ago, where it was, I'm the big, strong guy. I'm going to hit every drive 300 yards, and I'm going to be different than everybody. I'm going to wear these stupid caddy hats or whatever the hat he used to wear when he looked like a tool, which is what he was. He's changed. He's a changed man. Everybody can change. If I could change, and you could change, everybody could change. So Bryson DeChambeau has changed. He said this week, I'm going to play boring golf. It's exactly what he's done. I know he's battling a little bit of a hip injury. I'm not worried about that. He's going to have the adrenaline flowing. Pinehurst has been going nuts for him. DeChambeau to finish it off, -125. He wins the U.S. Open.
All right, that'll do it. Thanks to Dan, Kenny, Amir, Tyler, Patty, every dad out there. Have a great, great Father's Day, and good luck on all your bets. We'll see you next week. BetQL's 5-Star Weekend.
You've been listening to the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM. If you missed any of the shows, listen back anytime on the new and improved Odyssey app.